No, that whole time my mic was off. I love it. Pretty much what I said was I'll redo my intro. You ready? Shirley, Jesse, Jonathan, welcome. Let's get to it. Roll intro. Welcome. Hopefully you can hear me now. Basically, I was just introducing the stream saying, hey, and you guys should let me know what your trades were from the week that you think was your best trade. I also said something along the lines of Jonathan doesn't trade anymore. So there is that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Good start. Good start. Wonder if I can actually. No, it won't let me. It seems like my stream is actually a little bit behind, like more so than usual. But and then I said, let me open Thinkorswim because it doesn't. SureTrader or DOS platform in general doesn't give me the time frame that I like to use. And then now we're here. Don't make fun. I turned the mic off on the mic itself. Right here. Why is my green screen picking up the orange? It's gonna annoy me. Splicka splacka splicka splicka sklacka shkblue. Is that what you're supposed to say when you test the microphone? Foam balls. I probably should have turned the mic off for that. That probably sounded horrible. Yeah, Jonathan, I kind of figured cryptocurrency is kind of your thing now because I don't see you trade anymore, man. But, still happy to have you in the community at least, supporting us day traders over here. So, anyways, let's get back to the subject on hand. I will actually just start with what I believe was my best trade. Let's go to the channel real quick. And we'll just go over it. By the way, 135 subs. We're just killing it. I actually was at 136 earlier, so sad face. But we're going pretty good. I'm pretty excited. So we had a 2-trade day, another 2-trade day, and then we had well, that was last week, and then we had a 1-ticker day. And I think this was the better of the two, simply I mean the dollar amounts are almost the same on these two, but let's go look at GES. So these were on Wednesday. And both of these were at the bell, so yeah. And we shall take a look at the diary so we can see what our entries were. So GES we got in at 1970 and out at 1952. So actually, we can turn this into, you still dabble. Yeah, well, I don't see it. You need to let us know about that, man, so I can, critique you. So here's what my chart looked like after the trade. So we got in on the first candle and we got out on the second candle. Now, GES was up on earnings, so I was actually looking for this to do what it did. So that's why we were just looking for that intense move and then, taking our trade and then getting out before she did this. This is kind of what we expected. She was uptrending all day the day before. Had kind of a slow but, gap up overnight. And then sure enough, right at the bell, she gave us that spike. We took our shot. We got it. And then, we could have held on maybe a little bit longer, but it came right down to VWAP, and I actually got this when it popped up back off VWAP. So that's, that was a good trade. And then the other trade was on CSTM, which is going to look very familiar. Wasn't right at the bell. It was about 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes in. And sure enough, we pretty much top ticked this one as well. And this one was a different story. I wasn't sure exactly why this one was popping up, but again, you know, I'm a price action trader. That's what I'm calling myself now. So there really wasn't much to this one, and I knew it wasn't up on earnings. The only reason I knew GES was up on earnings is because I just happened to see it in the pre-market. But this one obviously wasn't on my radar at all in the pre-market. As you can see, the day before she was doing absolutely nothing. She capped up a little bit, and then she decided to make a run, and we read the tape pretty well, as you can see, and took this one a little bit early. I don't even remember why I took this one early. I think it was just because I felt like, you know, she was popping back up, which she did, or, you know, hitting a base. But, you know, when you're only taking one entry and one exit with the account building status that I appear to be in, you know, we're just looking for that nice initial move, because we don't know if this next move is going to be down like this or if it's going to be up. Obviously, VWAP would have been nice here. It would have been like an extra 10, 15 cents. But we're kind of locking in profits now as we're just building up the account, you know, getting really comfortable with the new strategy. And as you can see, we'll go back to CLF. I mean, as you can see, it's just a sea of green. Get rid of CSTM. CLF was the very first trade I took with the new strategy back here on February 8th. So if we put in a custom date range here from the 8th, 02/08/2019, you will see that I am 30 out of my last 32 trades. And when we scroll through those, and yes, you know, I had the pretty big loser, and so that's why my average losses are up there. But as you can see, my overall trades were 578 is what I've gained. Commissions eat you up, but I'm starting to finally get past that. I'm taking a lot less of the smaller winners as I get more comfortable. I'm not getting out of trades too early as much. So I'm growing each time. From the beginning of doing this strategy, you know, I'd get in and I'd take like the first 5 cents it gave me just because, you know, I wasn't comfortable with the strategy yet. But now I'm actually waiting and actually getting the bigger moves. But as you can see, the strategy obviously works. You know, I'm up near 94%. Actually being profitable with it now. One of the losses was just, you know, a buying power mistake, and then the other one was an actual red trade. And right now, I think I'm on such a hot streak. I think I have like 22. Oh, yeah. You know, I totally forgot to get that out. Yes, volume profile. Glad that you said that, Jesse. So you guys may have noticed something new if you watch my videos on my charts. That would be these bars over here, and they're on the daily as well. And what they are is the volume profile. So what it's doing is throughout the day, and this is a daily, basically resets every day, but or obviously not down here on the daily, but on the intraday chart, you will see that throughout the day, some of these bars are longer, and obviously they're green and red, but basically it's taking all the orders throughout the day and it's showing you them by price. So we're all used to seeing these volume bars down here, which will show you where the volume was where it was within the day, you know, as far as time, but it doesn't show you where it was for the price. It was always like that missing key. You know, if you have a graph, you know, the L graph, usually you have two sides, right? Well, we always only had one side just looking at this, but now if you add the volume profile, you have both sides, and it's pretty awesome because when you get moves, I think, was it Arky? Of course, we're not going to see it because it was yesterday's. I wonder if I scroll out far enough, if it'll give me yesterday's. This was crashing on me earlier, so I was, oh, it just did again. Let me see if I can just scroll over that way. or not scroll, but move the bottom part. Like this. Okay, cool. So as you can see, this was yesterday, and what happened was, look at the volume profile. So when she had this big move up, everyone was buying because, you know, low float, they think this thing is going to the moon. And so buy, 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 buy. Look at all this green versus the little bit of red. So what the green means is it was just orders that went through on the ask, and the red is orders that went through on the bid. So when you see all this up here and then you get this big move down, this is pretty much telling you that all this volume that was up here throughout the day is now, this is where it was all bought. So there's shares up here at this price, a lot of them, that when it made this dramatic move down, you can kind of understand why it halted. All these shares were probably trying to get out, and that's why you had this big panic sell into a halt. So after the halt, you probably still had all these people like, oh crap, I need to cut my loss, you know, let me get out. And so she kept coming down, and she just trickled the rest of the day. So imagine how many of these people up here are now investors, because they're just sitting here waiting for this, I guess, eventually to come back up. But as you can see, it wasn't happening yesterday or today. And like I had said in my video when I had brought this up, you know, this had a reverse split up here to the $4 area. It's probably going to come right back down to that. And usually when these reverse splits happen, they eventually end up back down where they were before the reverse split over time. So this thing will eventually most likely get back down here. So the odds are that everyone that had bought all those shares up top, I don't know what to tell you, because unless you want to wait months, probably even a year, for it to have some crazy day like this again, you're stuck. But I wouldn't say it helps you predict anything. It's more of it helps you look for support and resistance. Oh my, there we go. So let's see how I'm trying not to scroll out too much because I don't know why it's crashing. But let's take, this isn't a good example either. What? Yeah, it kind of is. I remember because I missed this trade again this morning. I missed actually 2 days in a row. I kind of bummed about this one. I really wanted like up there towards 620 on this one, just didn't get it. But as this was coming up, it had already had, this bar was kind of, or these bars were kind of formed. So as you can see right here, when this came up and was coming back down, you could almost tell that the probable support area was these two bars because they were the longest from, you know, there was some here in pre-market. As she was coming up, she came back down a little bit before she ran again. So all the volume was like right here as she made her initial move. As you can see, that was the bulk of her volume right there. So when she was coming back down, the odds are she's going to look to find support there because that's where all the volume had come through in the first place. And again, you can also draw your lines. You know, you have your previous resistance kind of right here, so you can look for that to be used as support as well. But it's just another, you know, indicator per se. Let's try to find another stock. What was the big one that ran today? RHE. So if we get rid of some of that from yesterday, so if we come over here, you can kind of see this worked pretty much perfectly because there was a lot of volume in here. She came up, she got a little bit of extended. She got a little extended. She comes all the way back down, uses that same area of support because there was a lot of volume there before. But look what she does. A lot of people were in this area as it was going up. So naturally, when it came back down and tried to come back up again, if anyone was still in this, you know, it's going to be used as a ceiling. So anyone that's trying to just get out break even as it came back up, that's why you can kind of see this volume profile as a resistance because that big long line there shows you that there's a lot of people in at that price. So if they're just looking to break even because they feel they're in a losing trade, you know, they're saying, thank you for coming back up to my price. I'm going to get out now. So you get that added selling pressure. So it's just a good way to use. And as you can see, there was another one up here from all the people that got in up here and etc. What's up, man? How you been? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. But yes, volume profile I've found to be pretty awesome, and you can really use it on the daily as well. I think Archie was actually a good one to look at. Or no, because it's a reverse split. Maybe it was Axty. Yeah, look at Axty. All these people. Oh, what was the buyout today? Does anybody remember what the buyout was? That PetX. So look at this one. The buyout was at 480, 460, 470. So obviously somewhere in here. But look at all this volume up top on the daily. All these people that were in up here, that got caught in this. And it's just insane. Like, I mean, what do you do now? There's obviously no chance it's coming back up. They just got bought out. So it's one of those things where it's pretty awesome to just see. But what I was getting at as far as seeing it on the daily is, say you got lines like this above the current price and she's running, the odds are you're going to run into a huge amount of selling pressure when you get to that point. It's just obviously you can draw the line and you can see all the volume. Like, you can see where a lot of the volume is just by looking at the candles, but this is just like in your face. Like, you can't miss this. Like, it's like, hey, there's a lot of shares sitting at this price point. So here's a pretty obvious, most likely resistance area. Yeah, that's very true, Jess. Let me pull up. I wonder if I deleted it. I may have. Nope. It's still in my recycle on bin. If I can. I swear my computer is so fast, but if I try to open my recycling bin, it like doesn't let me. It's like, I don't want you to delete me. There we go. I think it was the 26th. Let's pull this out. I'm going to just mute it so we don't hear everything. But we'll go over some of what I'm talking about here. So this was RHE, or did I switch it? Yeah, RBZ was the other one. Actually, I mean, yeah, look at RBZ here. So RBZ's looks like she's about to drop down, but in the pre-market, look at all this volume that went through. So as you can see, the price goes up and down, but it gives you the two big areas of where the most shares went through. So the odds are you can almost use this as a range. So you could look for it to get, between this $8 and $7.60 area. So because that's where a lot of the shares are. So the odds are this is going to be used as a support, and the odds are this is going to be used as a resistance. And I don't think I don't sit here and watch the same stock. I scroll through looking at the scanner, which this morning there wasn't really much to look at. I don't think you can you fast forward with? No. Let's see. Yeah, change work general. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I was fearing the worst, not seeing your videos for a while, if you know what I mean. Most of the time when guys disappear, it's they blew up. So glad to hear that's not the case. Being mean? What did I do? So yeah, here's RHE in real time. Of course, I knew I couldn't play RHE today, so I was kind of just checking it here and there. But obviously, I was looking for real things to play. Not sure why I typed in TBZ there. Still had RBZ on my mind. So yeah, look, here's RBZ. She came right down to that point, and she actually did dip through, but as you can see, she got bought right back up, and she was trying to use it as support. As you can see, if you watch one of my videos, you don't see this part, but I mean, this is pretty much all I do in the morning. I just watch the scanner, and I just scroll, especially when there's not much to look at normally. Your Robinhood blew up. You didn't have much in there, though, did you? And that's what you were playing options with? Does anybody have an actual trade from this week that they want me to go over after we're done doing this? Long bottom wicks on RBZ. Let's see if we go back to it. Yeah, here was AXD as it happened. We can go through watching me miss this trade. It was a little bit slower today. The volume wasn't quite there. Yeah, it was so slow I actually left it and came back. I wanted to play this. As you can see, I put 50 shares in. I really wanted to play this one. I wanted that pop over 68, but then I remember looking at the volume and saying I didn't want to get in. And then this one was just crazy. FET. I didn't know what to think about this. The range was kind of weird, and then I literally just looked at it. There was really no volume, and I was like, well, I feel like if she pops back up and goes over 6, I just have to, because look how extended she is. But then she literally just dies in front of me. It was right, yeah. I was pretty upset with this one. I was like, that could have been such a nice trade. Okay, so here's AXI, and then this is where I miss AXI. I was so mad about that one. It probably played into my emotions with this one. There was just no volume this morning. It was so hard to trade anything. It just felt like nothing was really moving. I mean, because like even this, she gives you that 6 break, but it doesn't really feel like a break, you know? Like, I mean, it was on like no volume, which was really a good thing. And, you know, in hindsight, if she's breaking through on such low volume, that's a sign to just get in, which I should have been in right here based off time and sales. But then I think she goes up to like 615 after this. But I mean, just look how she stops. You know, it was just not my kind of trading. Oh, Jonathan was definitely lolling that you blew up your account. Just saying. Oh, but how'd you not take profits? That's one of my main things. You always pay yourself on the way. Gotta. Yeah, let's see. This thing goes back up. But, I mean, even as you're looking at this, so if I were to get in, you could probably bet that it would stall somewhere in this area around 585, because look, that's where a lot of the volume is. And then down, like your next support level would be down here, which if you look at where AXD, let's pause this for a sec just to prove my point. If you look at AXD from today, I'm pretty sure she came right back down to that area. Yeah, like 550. So, or actually, I'm pretty sure she goes lower. Yeah, the current price is even lower. Yeah, she came right back down to it, because that's where, again, you can kind of use, look, and that's pretty much where the volume was from before, but most of her volume was up here now. So it just shows you, like, if you were to play this tomorrow, like if you took note of this, you could probably know that there's a bunch of people that are in this area from the day before. So they're looking for it to come back up. So if you get like no action in the pre-market and then you get a pop up here to 575, 580, the odds are there's going to be a lot of selling pressure there from the day before, and that could be a good spot to take a short. Plus, look at the topping tails on the daily and the 200s right there. I mean, it's just one of them things where it's just, again, it's just another indicator basically to really help you out. Greed. Yeah, I know GDT he's in a Tesla put. I think he took it off though, but he was saying he was going to go boom or bust with it, like he was going to let it run out. But I think he took it off today. He said he was going to be greedy, but he wasn't. Okay, so somebody give me a trade to look at. Who traded something great this week and wants to take a look at it? Oh, and I still owe you a shot, Jonathan. Be right back while somebody gives me a trade. Totally forgot about that. Didn't forget about it, obviously, but be right back. Everybody loves that sound. Oh, spilled it. God dang it. I need a paper towel. Hope you guys can't hear my dishwasher. Totally just realized that was on. Ford. What day? The day it took off? I guess that was right. It was right after earnings. Yeah, she's been killing it. She. Yeah, this was after hours. Okay. To Jonathan, appreciate the support. You know I always do. Waiting for you to do your stream. You're doing one tomorrow, right? I believe. I hope you are. Yeah. So, too much information, but I need to get a root canal. Oh, and that one definitely got up in there. That did not feel good. Yeah, I found that out the other day. The stock has very minimal range of movement. They also pay dividends, which does not assist with stock growth. Yeah, very true. Yeah, he said. I think he said 200%. I want to say. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. But good, Jonathan. I'll be there. Be ready with your king cup. So I'm assuming, did you trade this in after hours, Shirley, or did you trade it during the day the next day? Yeah, I'm not quite sure why most people really enjoy dividends. They're not, I mean, everyone has their own cup of tea, you know? I've had every one of my teeth filled twice. Here, roots are worse, though. Yeah, I haven't had one before. I've had pretty much most of my teeth that can be drilled for cavities and filled have definitely been filled. They have not been fun. Fillings they're not hard, you know, but they do suck that day. Whole side of your mouth is just numb for the day. But the worst part about the root canal, I'm not worried about the pain necessarily as much as my wallet. So I hear they're pretty costly, but they need to do the root canal, and then I need to go get a cap and all that good stuff. So yeah, I feel like we're not being very productive. Let's go back to this Axie trade that we missed today, and I can kind of show you. I wouldn't have added to this trade. I would have been in somewhere around $6. For an ad, I would have been looking over $6.20, which we never got. But if I would have waited until now, which as you could see, I was already looking at the chart, you can see she kind of just comes up here. She sees 615 on the bid. I don't know if it ever actually gets hit. I don't think it does. You got 614 went through. Just when you start seeing red and a lot of white, which means in between, you know, that bid and the ask, that's usually a good sign that she's ready to come down, and sure enough, she just got slammed down. So we wouldn't have got an ad in here if we were in at 6, which we should have been. And this thing just kind of gives it all up right away. This was a frustrating one for me. I remember just after watching this go down, I just was kind of done for the day. You know, there was just no volume this morning in anything that I could play. It was all in RHE and RBZ and all those low floaters that I couldn't play. So I'm pretty sure this thing gives it all back. Yeah, 580. And of course, I was obviously looking for other plays, but there just wasn't anything to play. Just nothing. Had it a few days ago. Yeah. Oh, so you had it before this. Wow. Well, good for you. I remember I never traded this, but I remember looking at the float on this thing at some point, and I was just like, whoa. What? It's, let's take a look. I think it's over $1 billion. Yeah, well, it's way over. It's almost $4 billion. That's nuts. I can't imagine playing a stock that's $4 billion. For it to make a move like this, it's only going to happen in after hours or pre-market. You're never going to get this kind of a move during the day. Which I think during the day, what was her biggest move? Well, this was this was that news that came out. I don't even remember what the news was. But as you can see, people quickly realized they didn't care. She went not only back up, but even further. So I forget what that was, though. Or was that not the news? That was just pre-market. No, that was the news. They just gave the news in pre-market. But yeah, as you can see, she held VWAP all day. It's pretty strong stock. I can't think of any other ones that ran today. It was, I think RHE and RBZ kind of stole the show. There we go. I don't want to scroll out too far. Yeah, RHE wasn't too bad as far as the volume profile goes. Obviously, as you can see, a lot of the volume is still above the current price. I mean, there's really not that much that came in down here. So, I mean, this is all these bag holders, guys. It's sad. I mean, it kind of makes you sad. Because, people are losing money. This volume profile has really made me realize it a little bit more than I, already knew. But look at all this volume that went in and went through up here. I mean, look at all this volume, right? You're talking millions of shares in these 2-minute candles. And within the first, 10 minutes, you had, what's this, well over 5 million shares go through. Well, look at the rest of the day. I mean, there's no way that all these shares got depleted. So a bunch of these people that were in up here are still in. I don't really know what else to say about that. So, the topic of this stream was let me guess your trades. And I'm not getting much participation from you guys. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Need some participation. Who wants a participation trophy? Surely you get your participation trophy. Here, I'm going to find you one right now. Participation trophy. Let's see. There we go. Some of these are pretty funny. But I'm going to give you this one. Let's put this one here. Open this. I'm going through a lot to do this. And boom. Participation trophy for Shirley. Starting to think my chat just doesn't work. Is my chat? Oh, no, there it goes. Any thoughts on going to crypto? Your trophy? Your trophy was this. Do you want a real trophy? Here, I'll give you a trophy. Somebody else give me a trade while I give Jonathan a trophy. I saw the perfect trophy for you. Here you go. Here's your trophy. Dun, 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 dun. So let's see here. What can we talk about since no one wants to give me a trade? Didn't really have a backup plan. I guess that's my own fault. We could go over what my new strategy is because look, it even happened here. You have the initial pop you have the initial drop, and then you have sloppy seconds. Basically, what sloppy seconds is when you get the second pop, which is basically a knee-jerk reaction pop off the bottom from all the people that got short up top. They go to cover finally once they realize it's kind of done going south, and it creates this squeeze basically. But she doesn't go high a day because all these people that were in here, you get added selling pressure because they're just looking to break even. And once she comes up here, if you can, she also uses VWAP as resistance as well. If you get short here, you're looking for sloppy seconds, and you can usually with sloppy seconds, they just tend to ride on down. And that's that. eBay. Let's look at eBay. eBay was also earnings, if I remember correctly. Wow, look at that open. I'm not going to lie, eBay's range kind of sucks. For such a well-known stock. What's the float on this thing? I lost my... Where's the... Am I missing it? Did I exit out by accident? Oh, that would be a shame. It appears that I exit out. Right, let's open it back up. Watch list. Is that not the one? Headlines. Is it? No, that's not headlines. I can't find it. There's so many awesome scanners that I can't watch it or find it. Is it? No. Earnings, IPO calendar. I have those both up. Today's top alerts. Nope. Clock. Could go over that. We could go over the scanner a little bit if anybody's interested. I know Jonathan's not. No, it's not that. Where is it? Am I just missing it? Eyes on alerts? No, I know it's not that. Unusual volume? No. Scans. External? Market watch. I'm so confused. No, that's not it. What'd you guys do to me? Captain. I'm lost for words. I would have thought it was here. Is it this one? No, that's not it. All right. Oh, I'm an idiot. No, that's not it. Wait, do I have to just enter something? Let me see. eBay. Haha. So that's why it's not actually in the list. You have to type one in to get the window to pop up. Sorry about that. So eBay, 812 million, which is, I mean, the range today was only 40 cents. Have you considered using Fibonacci levels? You know, I've actually thought about that, and I used to use Fibonacci levels for the type of trading that you're doing now, Jesse, actually, like when I was back in trading technicals. And to be honest, if you've ever noticed the people on YouTube that show you when the Fibonacci levels work, they only show it to you when it works. If you notice, let me see if I can actually draw it on this. And that's the other thing too, is, you know, everyone has a different set of rules with these. They say, do you start from the bottom of the move, or do you start from the bottom, you know, from low a day, you know, kind of thing. But if you draw it in here, what are you looking at exactly? Let me just try to scroll in so you don't have the volume profile in the way. Went too far. Dun, dun, dun. Crap, I think I went a little too far. Oops. So she makes her move up, and she comes back down, and she, I guess, essentially bounces. I mean, she closes here. So this, again, in real time, we don't know how this happened. So we don't know if that happened here and then went up, but when she finishes her move and she does come down, she does appear to hit that spot again. But again, you know, these work when you want them to work. I don't know. I just, again, there was a guy I was watching his video today, and he actually was looking at a key level he had drawn out as a support, and this was actually a good one, 38.2. It actually lines right up with the resistance here. But so he actually put an order in, a limit order in, to buy to get the drop down off that support. And what it did is it came down and filled him, but it did this and it just kept going. So it's like, how do you, I mean, and that's the other thing. It's like, well, which line do you use? Like, yeah, I don't know. When I use Fibonacci levels, I just found out real quickly that no matter how you used them, and that's the other thing is it's like people all use them a little bit differently. Just wasn't for me. I'll just leave it at that. I didn't like them. Now, apparently I can't get rid of them. I just draw a regular line and then try to remove it. Remove all. It's not going to let me. If anybody knows how to activate this on DOS without having to click it every single time, you'd be my hero, because I can't figure it out. And I've seen people doing it in videos, so it bothers me that I can't do it. So let me know. But this move on eBay, this was nice. Again, the range wasn't that great, but she does rip right out. And I mean, this is a beautiful example. And actually, this wasn't even at market open. Now I'm like, this big candle was actually before market open. And then you get the continuation up here. But that would have been a great trade, you know, for my strategy. Right up there. I mean, I probably would have been looking for that 38.50 break, though. So this probably would have been a no trade, which would have been another sad no trade. And again, in the future, these are ones that I'm hoping to get in because, you know, right now, the reason that I'm at 94% win rate is because I'm being picky. I'm waiting for that super overextension. I'm always waiting for the $half, whole dollar pops. And the odds are when you get those pops, they're going to retest, you know, that whole dollar, $half. And most times when you're super overextended, they come right back down through them, almost always. I mean, it's been pretty rare that I've seen them not come back through. So, and even in Axie today, even with something with not that much volume, I mean, as you saw, she went over 6, had her little pop over 6, and then straight on back through. Because most of the times you're not looking, and again, in something like this, you'd have to go back to yesterday's after hours to find a key level. But you're looking for levels like this. I feel like with the volume profile, it's making my chart look a little bit too busy. In real time, it's nice, but let's, I mean, maybe, was it, oh no, this was a few days ago. Unless that's when you were talking about, were you talking about back here? But this is after, that was at earnings, so I doubt that. So today, we have the pop out, and then you'd be looking for a key level, which actually wasn't after hours, but, oops, this is not what I wanted to do. So I haven't used Thinkorswim in a while. Did I hit the right thing? Yeah. Just extend. So you'd be looking for this key level because, I mean, you have resistance here. I mean, that's good enough for that. But when she comes back through, you'd be looking for that to retest. I'm always looking, let's go just real quick to RHE. Like, this was a good example. She actually does it in reverse a little bit too. But when you get these big pops, you're always looking for the previous resistance. If a stock is strong and she's going to continue, the odds are she's going to come down and test that previous resistance as a support before continuing. And if she's super strong, that's when you get your red trades because like she would use something like VWAP or the like the 9 EMA or something like that to kind of keep going. But the odds are when you make a bust through of a resistance area, especially a key resistance area, she's going to come back out and test it. And in this case, she comes through, she actually comes back up to that same resistance area and uses it as resistance again, which shows you that the stock was weak. And as you can see, she fizzled off the rest of the day. Let's see what RBZ if she gave us. She actually just died off at the beginning. Let's go back to, was it yesterday? So this one just made a huge run middle of the day. So it's really not a good example. Here we go. This is a pretty good one. This one kind of did it too. Man. This thing, and that's why I don't play these low floats, guys, because, I mean, they're just so random. But she still does kind of follow the rules here. As you can see, she had a previous resistance here, makes a big move in the pre-market, and look what she does. She comes right back down to it and starts to consolidate. Now, at the market, she does fail, but then she comes back up through, and look what she does. She comes right back down to that key point. It was being used as resistance. It was being used as resistance before because that was the high day yesterday. And then, I mean, that is what it is. What's up, Bulls? How you doing, man? Why do penny stocks trade in more understandable patterns than really high float stocks? I feel like when I'm looking at a large cap stock, I have trouble breaking it down. To be honest, you'd be surprised with penny stocks. Like, I honestly don't know any of them off the top of my head. But there's so much volume that goes through penny stocks on a daily basis. It's ridiculous. I mean, what we see in like the over $1 stock arena, I don't really know what to call it. Just like the area from $1 to say $20, we'll get, stocks that traded 20 to 100 million shares in a day. But I mean, like the SPY, what did the SPY trade today? SPY actually took a hit today, didn't they? Oh, no, they finished strong. Nice. They took a hit at the beginning of the day. They finished real strong. Nice. But on a day like today, it traded... What is it? Oh, is it up there? No, I don't want to lie. No, get out of here. No! Where's my volume? All right, let's go back to DOS for this. This will be easier. Again, I haven't used Thinkorswim in a while. So it traded 50.9 million. You can find some of these penny stocks, and those things trade 50 plus million every day. Like it's insane. Just some of the ones that get so much attention. I mean, if you have any off the top of your head, I can take a look at them, but I don't know any off the top of my head, to be honest. I know. Well, no, that's over $1, but that's a crap stock anyway. IGC is one of them places. Their head office is actually a daycare, and it's in the state that I live in. I haven't driven to it, but I thought about it when it was making this move. I was gonna go shake their hands and congratulate them for fooling everybody. If crypto's hot, they're in crypto. If cannabis is hot, they're in cannabis. If bio, whatever's hot, and that's whatever the hot sector is, that's what they're in. But all right, you guys are being no help today, making me like fend for myself, figure out what to do. Did I X out of that again? Sure did. But it's okay. I don't need it right this second. Oh, look how white my arms are. Anything, guys? Anything? Anything? Spit it to me. This was supposed to be, like, I feel like I don't have a subject to talk about because the whole point of this stream was to really kind of interact with you guys. You guys can keep spitting out questions. And I mean, to really answer your question, Jesse, I think it has something to do with just the volume. Like you have the pure volume. So if the volume is there, it can create patterns. And that's why you don't see me trade stocks with pretty much no volume on the day, because like, let's go back to Axie real quick. When Axie made that move this morning, I mean, it wasn't on a ton of volume. And when something is moving on not a lot of volume, if no volume comes in to sell just because there's no volume, like you can't predict that the people that are coming into the stock with volume are there to sell or are to short or to, you don't know what they're going to do. So if the only people pulling up a stock with no volume are there to buy, then what's the price? What's the chart going to do? What are the price is just going to go up. And you can't do anything about it because they're all just buying. So if you have volume, like if you have millions and millions in volume, you're going to get both sides of that. And you're going to get people that are there to buy, that people that are there to sell, people that are there to short. And that's that. Like that's how you get your patterns. At least in my head, that's how that works. I'm trying to think. I was just trying to think maybe we could just go over one of my trades since you guys aren't giving me a trade. Let's go over, where was my good trade? Yeah, AEHR.
Hey, on AEHR.
So watching AEHR, I remember watching this and we were looking for this key level to break, and we really wanted this thing to go up even further, because if you remember what I said earlier, we'd be looking for it to come back down from our entry to retest this area. And I'm not sure if I was that patient with it, but we'll see. Okay. So yeah, I was actually looking for this thing to maybe just kind of not bounce, but maybe kind of like double top. But I should have taken my initial thought process of letting this thing go for a good entry, looking for this up towards like 220. I don't think she got up that high. I know we add to this, so maybe it does get up there. So it's like, of course, it was like right after I got in, I felt like she might have just been done, and then the volume came out of nowhere, and she gave us our spot for the ad. And let's go back and kind of look at the tape on this one. So she's pushing up, and then look at all this red, white. She's still kind of pushing, so we saw green, so now we're still waiting again. And then I'm thinking, again, when you're reading the tape, there's a couple different ways you can read it. You can look for the white and red like I explained earlier, or you can look for like when a lot of volume is still coming in and the price just isn't moving. So as you could see in this case, the price kind of hits that 218, 217, 218, but she just kind of stops. So she wasn't going any higher. And then, of course, that's when I got in, and you can see kind of everyone else kind of figure it out, okay, she's not really going up anymore, and that's when the price started coming down. And I looked at to see what the price is that I got, which was 216, which was pretty awesome. So I was looking to just get back down to take shares, those top shares off. And we had got that initial move. I was looking for under 2, I think, for all of these shares. But I think we end up taking the top ones off. Yeah, because I didn't want her to possibly run again. So I just took those top shares off just to get back to our original share size with a higher position size, which is now 2095. And I know for the rest of these shares, I'm looking for under 2, which I know we eventually get. Yep. So let's see if we can see on the tape when we really see. So again, she kind of pops up, and then here's the sea of red. Well, it's not always the bears taking over, Jesse. It's more so when the volume dies down, there's just no one to buy. So if no one's there to buy, there's really only people that did buy and can sell their shares, and the people that are going to short because they think the price is too high. As you can see, the sea of red that came in there for that move. I think we end up taking half our shares somewhere around here, and we let the other half roll out because we actually took larger share size on this one just because we realized the range wasn't that much, so we knew she couldn't really run against us too much. Yeah, this was a great trade. I remember like this play. I mean, again, and it goes to show you the strategy. You don't have to be perfect. So we imagine if, I mean, and that's the other thing. This trade actually wouldn't have been as profitable if we would have gotten just the top entry, because we probably would have been exiting somewhere around here with just the 400 shares with the single entry, single exit. We actually went over this BPTH in a different, I think it was last week. Was it last week? Or we didn't do one last week because of Easter. I'm going to kind of try to tell you how something like BPTH would work. When did this happen so I can scroll back to it? This was the 7th. Actually, this good idea. let's try to just kind of show you like how something like that would happen and like what you would look for and maybe how to try to manage a trade and kind of get out of it per se. So on something like this, you know, we're only looking to probably take, I'm right now in this price range. I have my little sticky, of course the green screen, wait, no, there we go. Oh, perfect. So I'd be looking to play around 100 shares on this. So just for that sake, we'll use 100. So here we would have this area here. We have the drawing there. So this is obviously really the only resistance line that we have drawn. So we'd probably just be watching this at first. And again, this is such a low float, we probably wouldn't have been playing this to begin with. Also, is our way to set a hotkey on DOS to set a stop loss? Yes. Jesse, I will get to you on that one after we're done or at some point this weekend. So if I was looking to trade this, I'd obviously have my time and sales up, which is not. And again, the on-demand using this isn't the greatest, but we'll do our best. So as you can see, she's kind of struggling. I mean, just the price is just jumping all over the place on this. I remember this thing was just absolutely nuts. We'd be looking for this to break. Yeah, we'd be looking for this thing to get super extended. We would not be in at this point. We'd be looking for this 20 break. Probably would get in on the 20 break when we feel she's done. Let's see what she does here. All right, she's at 20. She's got a ton of, here's all the green. Still going. And this thing was nuts. Look at this. That just jumped. Oh my. This is where money is made. Just wait. Right there. I was literally about to press the button, but she really dumped off. Now we'd probably just be waiting again because that was a huge dump off. There's a pullback within a candle. That's why you got to watch these live, because when you don't see those by just looking at the candle afterward. You don't see that she actually did have a pullback. So the odds are she's just going to keep going here, which is fine. We obviously want to see her get completely extended. I see you're talking right here. Yeah. Again, yeah, it's so much easier to kind of see in hindsight. This thing was just nuts. Are we looking for 22 to at least there's 22 pop? She's struggling here again. Oh, here she goes. All right, just for sakes, because I mean it looks like she's struggling here, but I'm pretty sure she's just going to keep going. Okay. So we're 2165, and this is perfect because now I can kind of show you how we would attempt to manage this. So she's pushing up again. I never would have been playing this, by the way. Okay, we're over 23. Is she get halted? I shouldn't have did that because we wouldn't have ever actually gotten those shares probably. We got to go forward 5 minutes. If it was a 5 minute, okay, yeah. So she comes back. We'd be looking to cover those 100 if we did get them. Probably taking all of them there just because we had profit. And this thing's nuts. Yeah, we would have taken that at some point right in there if we were actually stuck in that. And she's actually, she get halted coming down. I don't know. Something like this is kind of hard. I know you were talking when, yeah, on Thinkorswim you can actually paper trade on demand. It's pretty sweet. Let's see if we can scroll forward to like when she kind of takes off here. But this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. If within these strategies, like obviously wouldn't have been playing something like this just by watching it at the bell. not with my small account anyway. This is something, if you have a huge account and you can kind of wing some money at this, you could do something like that. But as you saw within these candles, look at how engulfing this candle is, but it had several pullbacks within it. So if you hit it up top, you could have easily sold for like a whole point, almost 2 points. I mean, the high of this candle was 23.62 and the low was 19.55. It's just insane. But as you could see, every one of these candles gave you an opportunity to get back out for a profit or at least break even. And again, on the way up, I mean, say we were in somewhere in here and you added up here. I mean, look, she still gives you the moves to come back down to get out of your position. So people that were in BPTH that blew up their accounts and stuff, it's just they weren't managing trades. Like they were getting in, say, in the middle of this candle, and then they were adding, say they top ticked to 29, and they're just holding because they're waiting for their average to come down to give them a nice profit. And then let's see what she does. She kind of consolidates. So they're still waiting. And then it starts to go back up. So now they're just sitting there still waiting. And it still goes up. So they're sitting at that, and then look at what happens. So then maybe if they got balls, they're going to add again because they're like, this thing eventually has to come down, right? So then it just keeps going up. So what do you do now? But if throughout all of this, if you're managing the trade, like you're getting in 100, in my case, 100 shares, if you're getting in 100 shares and you're getting out the 100 shares, and say you're in 200 shares, or say you're in the 100, you add the extra 100, you're always looking to get rid of those extra 100 shares as soon as you can for a little bit of a profit on those shares. So then your average is up and you're back to your original share size. So when she pops up here, you add those 100 back. When she comes down in here, you get rid of those 100. And then if it pops again, you add those 100 back. And you keep bringing your average up and you keep holding your original share size. And the strategy that I use, it has a three entry max. So say I got in here and then I added here. I didn't take off here for some reason. I would add one last time, say up here. And if for some reason she kept running, once she broke the top of this candle, you're out. That's your max losses. You're just out. That's the strategy saying, okay, the strategy's obviously not working. It's time to get out. But the odds of that happening are so unrealistic. It's not funny because you're always going to get these pullbacks. I mean, you're never going to see a stock literally just go from here and go straight up. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, I do think you need to be on a live account. I think Jesse is right. But yeah, you just literally click the on-demand button and you can trade these. But you can get a live account. It's not hard. It's free. You just have to sign up, like actually make an account, but you don't have to like deposit or anything like that. But I mean, yeah, this thing was just nuts. And on moves like this one here, like she just steadily goes up, it's hard to play these because I call these stair steppers because they're just stair stepping up. So it's hard to play these because, yeah, she's getting a little bit of extended, the extension from VWAP, but you can't get out of these trades because they're not really giving you the opportunity. And that's why you don't really play ones that kind of stair step their way up. But at this point, I'd be looking to get in because look how extended she is. Let's see if she gives us a pullback. So this was a halt. She gave you a pullback. I mean, look, the high of this candle, if you were in somewhere towards the top, say like around 47, she comes all the way back down to 43, which is nuts before she does this. Okay, say you got in up here at this halt. Say even you were in down here at 53. See what she does. So 50, where was the 53 halt? Down here. Okay, she doesn't give you anything there. So this is where, again, I mean, you obviously realize what's going on. This is when if you're just still playing this, you're an idiot. But, I mean, at some point, this is going to happen. So it's risk management. And again, if you're constantly adding those 100 shares and getting rid of them, it's possible you could have ridden this thing out. Like if you know your account size and you know what you can risk, if you managed this trade even from the beginning and you just kept averaging up and getting rid of those shares over and over again, so when you got to this point, you're literally just adding and looking to take off those original shares, your average is probably somewhere, I don't know, in the 50 range, at this point if you're constantly doing that. So you're obviously looking for this move and you're obviously down a bunch of money, but you know eventually this thing's going to come back down, you know, probably to the 20s and 30s, right? Which she does, right? If we come back out of this, where's she at now? She's sub 20. So if you have your average up at $50 by managing that trade, you know you're going to get paid. It's just a matter of when. So if you can manage your trade all the way up, like I just described, and you can withstand that, you know, the torture that you had to go through, I mean, you're going to get paid. Like, it's just a matter of time. I mean, she just on that day, she closed at 38.86. So, right, you would have already been paid. And if you wanted to hold, she does come back up above it to 39.88, which was a little bit of fake out before she decides to come all the way back down. Gotta have a Rocket League stock talk sometime with Johnny. Yeah, Rocket League is pretty fun. You're the grand champ. You would know. Do you think proprietary traders and hedge funds traded this stock? You know, I don't. I mean, hedge funds, I can't say they didn't trade it because actually, let's pull up, I follow one of them, 7 Points Capital. Let's see if they traded it. Is it back on the 7th, right? March 7th? Is that the day? Let me check. Yeah, March 7th. So 3, of course, the dog's in the background. So they traded NEO. I mean, this is just one guy in the hedge fund, but I wonder if he even brings it up. RBZ. Oh, okay. So let's see what he has to say about it real quick.
Like, there is so much else going on. BPTH, there was NEO, there was SEEL we saw earlier, and of course this was BPTH. I did have a short in this one actually at the 26 area, on the 26 mark. As we started rejecting this, sort of shorted this, and my stop was just above this one. So I ended up actually getting stopped out just at 28 mark, and we just absolutely took off from there. I never really could get myself to get long.
And look at that. I mean, he actually had a good entry, and he could have made probably a decent amount of money if he would have took it. But I guess he was looking for the big move back down. He was looking for this to be the top, and he was looking for this to be the sloppy seconds, and he was looking to ride that down, which is a smarter move on, you know, big plays like this. You look for the reject, look for the lower highs, and you look for it to continue. So that's what he was doing. He was looking for the big win, and he actually ended up getting stopped out. I personally would never get stopped out of something with such a big win. I probably would have, you know, had like a trailing stop or something at some point. But, you know, that's why these hedge funds make a lot of money, and I don't, because, you know, if this does play out and he makes a boatload of money. But so, yes, apparently hedge funds do play this stock. So that's kind of interesting to take note of. I actually didn't watch that one. I actually really kind of subbed to this channel to watch Katz when he trades, because I listen to him on Chat with Traders. Just a great trader. Just listening to him, he's actually the one that turned me on to looking at the volume profiles, and just it's a different way of let him explain.
This, you could see all the volume profile. There's a lot where people are stuck long, and that could be resistance. So I'm not in any hurry to get long on something like this. And that's very different than, where's pins? There's pins, right? Everybody is in the money. Look at this. You see the volume profile here? We're above it. Any pullback to this would probably be support for now. So that's the difference between Pinterest and Lyft. Pinterest has the volume profile and everybody who's traded mostly below it, and that's going to act as support, whereas Lyft, you know, it's the opposite. resistance, and that's going to act as a ceiling. All right, that's it. And get back.
So I raised the mic up a little bit on the mic itself, so let me know if that made it better. But as you can see, that's how a volume profile really works in a simplistic form. And he was actually looking at it on the 1 hour chart. But it just shows you how powerful it can be. And it can be used intraday very well, because when you get these big pops later in the day, if she tries to come up and retest those certain levels, you can really kind of tell where the resistance is going to really start. So you can look for good short positions in that case. Or if, say, there's a lot of volume, down towards the, bottom, underneath all of this, like he was showing on Pinterest, when it comes back down, you can expect that to be used as support, just because that's where everyone is already at, price-wise. Anybody have any other questions? Be happy to answer them, since the actual topic of the stream didn't exactly happen as planned. And that shot actually tasted pretty good tonight, minus the fact that it destroyed my tooth. I'm trying to think of what was the other trade from this week. I wanted to go over this trade, 50 shares, because I was kind of mad at myself on this one, because there was the key level here. I got in, and I think this is the one. I might have missed my ad because I was looking for too much, and I ended up getting not stuck, but I was just ended up getting mad at myself, because I had this line, in my head. I didn't draw it, obviously, like right here at 1580. So I was looking for this thing to come back under 16 to the 1580 mark. And no, I didn't miss, or I'm pretty sure this pops up. Yeah. And I don't add for some reason. Yeah, I think I was telling myself I wanted it over 1620. Or maybe it was 1630. I don't remember. I was telling myself something, and there was a reason I didn't add. Let me just go back and read the tape here, though. When we look at the tape, let me make this bigger. So right there, you can see she started to struggle. And right there, yeah, 22. It should have been in right there. Very frustrating. She does try to go back up right after that, but you could tell that she was struggling. Should have been an ad there for sure. But I was definitely telling myself something. And right when that happened and she shot back down, I remember telling myself, okay, I just want to get out of this trade. Because I felt like I had the first entry, but the whole point of the strategy is, if she pops like that, is to get your ad in so that you can, get the better average to make this a nice, good trade. But now if she's going to sit here after she made that pop, now she sits around my average, which was my initial entry, where my average should be up in here around 1615, and I'm just sitting pretty. But now I'm, sitting down here, and she's going to mess with me. At this point, I'm like, okay, I just want to get out of this trade. So I ended up making a smaller profit and not abiding to my plan of waiting until 1580, or maybe I do. I don't remember where I get out exactly. It must be, I think I only made $12 or something on this one. So yeah, look, she actually went up again. And at that point, I didn't want to add. I was actually looking to probably stop out if she broke high a day, because I didn't get that ad. And if she was going to run, obviously I wasn't just going to let her run after all these pullback. And because when you get a big pullback like this, the odds are she's ready to keep going. But luckily she didn't have her proper pullback yet, and I ended up getting bailed out of this trade. As you can see, I took it right there, which was right around that area I was looking for, the 1580 area, where there was a bunch of resistance from the day before. But a very frustrating trade, because that could have been, and then of course, look at what she did the rest of the day. But that's in hindsight. And the thing is, I could have caught a lot of this if I would have played the strategy correctly, because if I added my shares, I could have been looking to get rid of those shares in this drop that I was looking for towards 1580, and I could have held on to that original share size at a higher average of 1615, and I could have caught some of this move. But unfortunately, I didn't play the strategy correctly, and it cost me some money. So that's why having a strategy and actually abiding by it is so important. Long-term investments, no. You will not see me holding a position overnight unless it's something that I feel super strong about, like BPTH, for instance. If I was in BPTH at $50 after managing that thing, you're damn right well I'm going to hold on to that until it pays me some good money, because I didn't go through a fight like that just to not get paid. It looks like you may be the last viewer left. So if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot them out, and I'll do my best to answer them. But once you run out, I'm probably just going to call it a night. Sometimes these streams, get popping. Sometimes they don't. Tonight was they don't. Hopefully, as we get a little bit more of a following, these will start to pick up some. It'd be nice to get a bunch of people in here and just really interact with one another, because that's what these are all about. It's hard to, unless I have a specific subject to talk about, they're harder to just kind of off the cuff go over some things, especially if you don't know what everyone's here to, learn or listen to and whatnot. So unless you guys tell me, I don't know. So, trying to think of something else while I wait for you. I did start up my Facebook page. Well, it's not that I started it up, but honestly, have a passion for it. When I first started my channel, I actually waited a while to start my channel just because I didn't know if I'd have the time to do it with the kids. But I started making a couple videos just on the side, just to see what it would be like, and I just kind of loved it. Like, it was something that was a lot of fun to do, and trading has just been something that I've loved to do now. I wake up during the week every day and I'm just like, I want to trade. Like, I'd love to trade. And so when I started to realize I liked making the videos too, I started making them more as a journal, and it's kind of turned into a lot of fun to make them the way that I'm making them. So if I can help people out and trade at the same time and, do what I love, it's awesome. But as far as tips, I would say the number one tip is to actually have a passion for it. Don't just make a YouTube channel because you want to try to be famous or you want to try to make a lot of money off of YouTube. Like, yeah, you kind of have to do it for the right reasons. So if you kind of have that niche that you're really passionate about and you want to document it and share it with others, and go for it, man. That's what it's all about. It's the people that make it on YouTube, if you ever notice, they're doing what they love to do, and you can tell just by watching them. Like, you can tell by watching their videos that they know what they're doing because they love to do it. It's very rare that you'll see, and sometimes you'll see these videos go viral where, they're prank videos or something like that, where it's someone that doesn't normally do them, but every once in a while something goes viral. So that's just part of it. The only difference, Alex, with the scanners is, here, I can actually, let me pull up the scanners. Am I on here? Oh, there I am. So the only difference with 2.0 and the web is I actually believe I could show you the web one as well. It's just a set. It's a set. Like, all this I can move around. Like, I can take this, I can put it wherever I want. I can get rid of this one and add a different one, which here is the controller. So you have all your scans in here. The two intensities, unusual volume I don't have up there, but you can have the eyes on alerts, high of day, red to green, low of day, all your watch lists, your trackers, your gap ups, your gap downs, after hours, your bear scan watch list, your top watch, the markets, which is down here, the chats, which are a little bit extra, but totally worth it to hang out with the group of guys that are in there. You can have the headlines, earnings, the IPO calendar, which I have those up here. You also have tools. The Learning Center, again, that comes with the chat as well. I think it's a little bit extra. I mean, that thing is a gold mine. I'm in there at least once every weekend, just kind of reading through stuff, stuff like that. And external is just all like the extra websites. But I believe if you bring up, let's see, Intensity Stockwatch. I actually haven't done this since I first signed up, so give me one sec. Plus I have to put in some credentials, so let's see, launch scanner. Okay, so I'll just pull it up here to show you. So in here, it's literally the same thing. Yeah, I mean, it's literally the same thing. It's just you can't change what's up here. So you have the plus i3 scan, which is the one that I use. The minus i3 is basically the same thing, but just in reverse. Your pre-market scan, your after-hours scan, your bear scan watch list, the tops, high day, ready, green, low day. So these are all the major ones. That's really the ones that you need. So there's really not that big of a difference. Like I said, the 2.0 is just nice because you can literally put it on your desktop and kind of move it around and just do what you want with it. You can actually also modify, like you can modify if you want the alerts to go off at a certain point. Like I have mine set to extreme, so it'll only alert me when there's an extreme case. You can change the min and max price. You can change the sound that it gives you. A bunch of different sounds you can choose from. You can change the time in seconds that it goes off. You can turn the sound off. Like it just gives you custom, like you can customize it. That's really the main thing with having the desktop version. But you don't need the desktop version. I would never try to sell someone the desktop version, like if money's a thing, but you want the scanners, because really this to me is really the only scanner I feel like I need is the plus i3, because this thing is just a beast. It tells you when things are moving and it gets you to bring up the chart. Oh, and I didn't have that up there, but yeah, that's what it'll tell you. This is really the only one I feel like you need for my strategy anyway. Throughout the day, I'll kind of look at the ones that are high days, because sometimes you won't get the big I3 number, but you'll see one that's high a day. So you can kind of just watch it and look for volume to come in and go through it that way. But yeah. Yeah, Bulls, again, just back to the YouTube real quick. Mind sharing your email to get in touch, just bounce ideas around, etc. Yeah, of course, man. I'll put that right here. It's actually pretty easy to remember, I feel. So, yeah, if you have any questions, anybody, I always am available to answer questions. If for some reason you don't want to email, again, you can just leave the questions in the comments. But if it's something you want to talk about via email, feel free. It doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, back to Bulls real quick with the YouTube. Let me actually bring up my thing, my analytics. Once you, and that's it's just being comfortable too, like getting comfortable with everything, knowing how everything works, stuff like that. But I've only been doing this for coming up on 3 months, and we're already much further than I thought I'd be. I couldn't fathom. I thought I'd be at like 50 subs right now, but we're almost, we're coming up on 150. That's good to know, Alex. Well, since you're here, Alex, let me ask you, what was your best trade this week? Since that's why we were here, maybe I could guess your trade. Who did you end up signing up through, by the way? Did you just happen to come across? I was just curious how you came across the ISW. I always like to shout out the guys. But yeah, back just on YouTube again, it's really consistency too. Because if you'll notice, I again, like I like doing this, so I try to upload a video every day. I have 69 videos now total, and I started probably close to 69 days ago, but that's not counting the weekends. It was February 4th. So since February 4th, so technically, yeah, we're coming up on 3 months. Sublime Stream. Can you talk about your experience with SureTrader? Also, how come you're not using level 2 in trading? Good question. Great question, actually. So you're going to laugh because my last day with SureTrader is actually going to be on April 30th. And the reason for that is actually just purely commissions. I'm going to let me break this down. So with SureTrader, So SureTrader right now, I'm paying $49 a month. And right now they lowered my commissions, but that was just to try to get me to stay, which it worked for now. But their normal commissions are $4.95 a ticket. So every time you hit that button, it's $4.95. Let me correct myself. That's up to 500 shares, or actually 495 shares. So we'll just say 500 for the sake of math. So anything over that, say it was, we'll just go with 750 a ticket for 750 shares. And then we'll do one more just to obviously round it out. $10 a ticket for 1,000 shares. Obviously, I screwed that up. 750. So that's where we're at now. However, over at CMEG, which is where I'm headed, Twitter Slab. Yeah, Slab was a good one. I remember missing that one. So over at CMEG, and we'll get to those real quick, Alex, just hold on. Oh, you have a chat. What is your channel based on, Bulls? I'll definitely have to come check it out. It'll be 125 for the same DOS platform that I'm using with SureTrader, which was a must. I absolutely love DOS at this point. But we will be paying $295 a ticket up to 999 shares. And then over the 1,000 shares, it turns into the 0.01 per share. So you pay the same penny per share. So you would pay the $3 for the 999 shares, and then over that you would pay a penny per share. So if you wanted to get 2,000 shares, you would technically pay basically $13 because it would be $10 for the second 1,000 and then basically $3 for that. So it would be 13 instead of the 20 you'd pay up here. So basically every month I would be paying, this is for the platform, and this is for the platform. I'm just kind of giving you the breakdown of, what I was looking at when I made my decision. There's some other factors like the withdrawal fees and stuff like that to even make the switch. But so to make up the difference between the platform every month, so 125, we'll just say 50 minus 50 is 75. So to make up $75, you divide that by 2 because each trade is going from $5 to $3. So $2 per ticket. So 75 divided by 2 is what, 32 and a half, 32 and a half. So 33 tickets a month to break even. So that would mean I would have to have 16 trades in and out with one entry. So one entry on 16 trades and exit, obviously. So in and out with one entry, exit to break even. So there's some trades like I traded Twitter this month and stuff like that where I'll have 6, 7 8 tickets in one trade because, you know, you're adding. So every time I add, that's a second ticket. So obviously it's going to be at least 3 if I were to get out of my full position. But that's usually not the case. Usually if I'm adding, I get rid of those shares and then I end up exiting later. So that's 4 tickets. So as you can see, 32 to 33 tickets is basically nothing, you know, for a month. And I'm not, you know, I don't trade that much. And even for me, it would make sense that I'm going to at least break even every month. So anything over those 32, 33 tickets is basically money in my pocket, because at that point, I'm just saving $2 a share every single time. So that's basically what I'm switching. However, with SureTrader themselves, I have nothing but good things to say about SureTrader. When I deposited, it was pretty instant. Anytime I have a question, like even today, I had some questions about closing my account, and I went to them and, you know, pretty much told them what was happening, and they were very open and good about it. Let me, I can bring you into my actual dashboard here. But right in here, you'll see, oh, this is usually, during the day, it'll say live chat or whatever. But they have, I'm trying to think, I guess there's really not much to look at, but they literally have good customer service. Like, I've never had an issue with their customer service. And they provide the DAS platform, which is awesome. It's quick. It's what everyone should be using, in my opinion, as far as trading. Some form of broker that has it, because I just think it's super quick. I probably won't use a broker that doesn't have it. But their customer service has been great. You know, their fees are what they are. They know they got some people by the balls just because they have to use them. And that's what it is. I mean, there's really not much else to say. I mean, I've withdrawn money from them before and got it pretty much next day. I don't really know what else to say unless you have some actual questions about it. Level 2, that's a good question. We'll get to that one. But yeah, my experience with them has been great, and I'm not leaving them because of the bad experience. Because of a bad experience, I'm leaving because it just makes sense, you know, for my wallet. But level 2, I have found over time, is just full of phonies. I mean, I don't really know any other way to say it, but level 2 basically is a way for people to manipulate without actually manipulating the stock, if that makes sense. You can basically flash orders on level 2 if you're a big player. So let me give you an example. The stock coming up, and say someone got short, like right in here at $6. We'll say they got in at $6 and they want this thing to come crashing down. Well, as it's coming up to these key resistance areas and they see it coming down and maybe trying to come back up, they can put a huge order in at, say, 620. And as it's getting close to that, people can see that there's a huge order sitting at 620 to bring it back down. So what's that naturally going to do? It's going to stop the bulls from buying because they realize that there's a huge order sitting there at 620. And on top of that, it's going to, you know, make them sell off basically. So you would think that that could be used to your advantage. But the reason I use time and sales instead of level 2, and I'm not saying level 2 is a bad thing. Like, you can literally make plays based off of people doing that. Like, you can say, okay, there's a huge order there. You know, I'm going to get in because of that. Like, get in short because you see that big order sitting up there. But all it takes is for them to be going up and it's coming up to their order and they pull that order, and now you're screwed because it was a fake order. The guy was just, you know, flashing it, hoping that it would work. The reason and that's why I don't like using it. The reason I like using time and sales is because this is the actual orders. Like, you're seeing actual orders come through. So if you're watching the time and sales go through, you're seeing what's really happening. You're not worried about all that crap on level 2. And if there's a big order that's getting eaten through, you're going to see it on level 2. You don't have to see it on not level 2, on time and sales. You don't have to see it on level 2 because you're seeing it in real time on time and sales. So like say this went above 6, and say there's a huge order that stopped this thing right at 614 or whatever it was, and right down at 6 they just want to take all the shares off because they know there's going to be a lot of liquidity there, so they start to cover their shares at 6. You're going to see all of that come through, and when there's huge hidden orders, that's the other thing with level 2 is hidden sellers, hidden buyers, whatever. You can't see them. But on time and sales, you see all of that coming through, and it's just full of fake. So, yeah, DJ. Oh, nice. I plan to emphasize on editing more in the future to make my videos more entertaining. I'll definitely check you out, man. I'm always looking for the little guys. The little guys are where the future is, because I think us little guys realize that these big guys out there are kind of doing it the wrong way now. And I don't want to expand too much into that because I'm not about all that. But, some of the big guys that even a bunch of us learned from are, starting to go a different direction with not only their channel, but with their trading styles and stuff like that. And it's something I'm not a fan of. And that was actually part of the reason that kind of jump started me into my channel, was just having a legitimate channel out there for people to watch. And hopefully we keep growing based off of that, because I want the right people to follow me, for the right reasons. So. Yeah, let's grub today, definitely. I heard CMEG platform fee is 150 to 175 because they have Sterling now, and also the shorts are not that easy to locate. Actually, the room that I trade in with GDT and Kevin Avery, GDT is Garage Day Trader, and a bunch of other guys, they actually use CMEG, and they've had a lot more shorts available than I do. Yeah, I actually did a full live stream, if you want to go check it out, Sublime, on time and sales. That was one of the topics for the live streams. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So if you want to go watch that, and if you want to leave a question on that video that maybe is something I didn't answer, feel free. And I definitely do want to make more videos on it. I honestly just haven't had the time on the weekends because baseball started up, and I umpire Little League on the side just to do it. I just love baseball. And so that's really been taking up most of my time on the weekend. So I haven't been able to make that weekend video. That's actually why I started doing the Friday night live stream, because I couldn't make the video on the weekend anymore. So I would definitely love to talk about time and sales, but definitely go check out that live stream that I did basically on time and sales. It was a really good live stream. We got a lot accomplished in that one, especially on time and sales. And the CMEG platform fee that you're talking about, I'm pretty sure it's only $125 for me, because I remember when I was looking it up, I wouldn't be using the level 2, so I wouldn't be paying for that and a bunch of other stuff that like a lot of people normally pay for, because they have it, you can itemize it now. I'm not sure if I can actually show it to you. CMEG, it should be Elite, right? CMEG Traders Elite Pro. I don't know. I just need to get to their website. There we go. Pretty sure they have the pricing. Let's see. And yeah, I know it says $395, but we'll actually be getting the $295 just for signing up through Kevin Avery. He has an affiliation with them right now. So that's how that'll be working. I know they're in here somewhere because I remember seeing them. Margin policy, no. Maybe it's equity. No, that's not what we're looking for. Trade fees, no, that's all the little stuff. I thought it was in here. I know I've seen it on here, so it's kind of frustrating. And I know I broke it down, and I know it was, or maybe is this it? No, we already looked at that. Maybe, no. I'm failing. I know it says it somewhere. I know it would be under here. I don't know why I'm even looking. let's see. Trading platforms. Traders Elite Pro, I want to say. Software fees. So this is, I think, Sterling, right? Yeah, okay, here's the powered by Sterling, powered by DOS. Okay, so yeah, 115. And then I think the data is 10. I want to say it's $10. Market data cost not included. Market power. I don't know what it is. I mean, you may be right. I don't know. And yeah, I did look at TradeZero, but wasn't too interested in TradeZero just yet. I might actually look into using them for when I eventually get my account to where I'm not on PDT, because they actually have an American or US based broker now with TradeZero. Right, here we go, market data. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this is what I was looking for. So the 115 for the DAS platform, and then the level 1 for the New York Stock Exchange is 3. Don't think that's... yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the only one we would need. So 3, and then the NASDAQ level 1 is 3. And we need level 1 because that's technically our level 2. It's just we're only seeing the top, and we're not seeing, obviously, how many shares are sitting there on the book. So 6. I could have swore this equaled $10, but I don't see anything that's $4. So 115 plus 6 is 121. So it might just be that, unless maybe it's this. I don't know if you need both of these, but I don't know why you would need both. I'm not sure, but I'll have to figure that out. But as you can see with this, I mean, the market data is only going to cost me $6 to $9, and then the DAS platform is 115. So that should kind of get that out of there. The watch time increase for YouTube? Honestly, I don't know. That's not why I'm still live, but I honestly don't know. But yes, I am still here. I was actually getting ready to leave, and then some people started showing up, so. Let me, I'm trying to remember what else you guys asked. So, I mean, yeah, if you use Sterling, which is here, and then say so $100, and then say you wanted the level 2, so NASDAQ level 1 and level 2, I would assume this is like a discount. So NASDAQ total probably comes with all this. So 17, you would need the open book for them. So 30, 34. So right there, you're already at $133 because it was 99. So that's really not too bad. 133 if you use Sterling. From the traders you asked on Discord is around $40 to $80 for data depending on the books you want to see. I mean, I'm not seeing that here. I mean, I could understand, like, if you want to get OTC, like the pink sheet stocks. I mean, that's another 19. I wonder, do they have like a bundle for everything? I mean, this is all extra stuff. You don't need any of that. I mean, I'm kind of confused how they're getting those numbers. I mean, this is what they charge per user per month. I would assume they're non-pro. I mean, you could get, again, I mean, yeah, I know ARCA's separate, but I want to say the open book is all of these together. So 12, 15, 18. So you're saving $1 to get the full New York Stock Exchange level 2. And then for the NASDAQ, you would also need that. I'm pretty sure the total plus OpenView is, for some reason, they have it discounted as well, which is a bigger discount. So you would be only paying $34 for both. So I'm not sure. I mean, and then I guess if you add the pink sheets, that's 19. So that would be what, $53. I mean, you can, and again, you could add all this extra stuff, but I don't feel like you need all that. Again, I don't use level 2 at all. So right there, that's savings every month just because I don't use it. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just calling them a liar. I feel like I'm dying, like sitting here not talking every once in a while because I'm waiting for your response, but I know for some reason my stream's a little bit behind. Usually it's only like 5 seconds, but it's like 20 seconds tonight. It's kind of frustrating. I actually just wired them my money today. Once I realized the markets were pretty sucky this morning, I went and wired them my money. I mean, you can pull up this. Anyone can pull up this page, and it's the same for Sterling and DAS. And that's the other thing too. Eventually, when I do get there, if you generate $650 in commissions, which, let me pull out my calculator. So 650 divided by 295, that's 221 tickets. That's a lot. But if I were to hit 221 tickets in a month, they actually waive this fee. So if you're trading and making money and also trading enough to generate that kind of commissions every month, that's $115 you save every month. So you'd only be paying the data fees. Oh, DOS for sure. I will not use anything that's not DOS at this point. I know some of the guys I trade with, actually just one of them I think uses Sterling, and he has no problem with it, but he also uses, what's the software? The one with like 2K in it. It's not CJ. I keep thinking of CJ2K. I could probably, excuse me, scroll up and check. Yeah, here it is. Because we were literally just talking about it. TC2K. That's what it is. So he uses TC2K, or I guess it's TC2000. And he said he pays yearly, but I didn't even know they had like different plans. He said what he ends up paying, I would assume it's this one, because he said if it's like $30 a month, but he only pays like $15 a month, I think, because he pays yearly. Let's see if they're gonna make you do that. But he uses that, and the charting software is pretty nice. But to me, it's like, yeah, this charting software isn't the best. It's not the most pretty to look at, but I'm not, I don't need to look at pretty. I just need something that is fast and works well. Trading in the Zone, best book. Listen to it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You can listen to it as an audiobook. If you're a paperback reader, Trading in the Zone, it really got me over a hurdle, and that hurdle was it's just a charting platform, but the hurdle was, my biggest problem was actually hitting the button. Like I would sit there and call out trades all day, and I still do it here and there. Like I would have been like, oh, Grub's up here, at 77. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to hypo trade this at 77. And then sure enough, she drops all the way to 69, 68. And it's like, well, why didn't I really trade it, kind of thing. And it's like, I had a big issue with just hitting the button when I know I should have, which, dang, this trade was pretty sweet. Let's take a look at just this pair. I mean, there's no way I would have held through all this, but I mean, that was a pretty awesome trade. And even if I did hold through all this somehow, if I was being really patient, definitely would have probably got out on this. I mean, that's just a nutty move. I would have definitely through VWAP, even if you're, no, I definitely wouldn't have been holding. I would have been really mad in hindsight because I would have been out up here somewhere. But yeah, trading in the zone. I actually was just listening to it for a second time on YouTube. It might even have like where I'm at in the book. Yeah. So I mean, I can't recommend Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas enough. It's definitely a great book. And yes, Sublime, go to their website and just prove to them. Be like, hey, it says right here that you're lying to me. You're lying. What was the other one that you said? Slab. Yeah, that was, I remember Slab. I remember looking at this thing. Let's see how far it'll let me scroll out without crashing. Was this a yesterday move? That's the other thing too, is I don't have the account to really play these just because of buying power issues. And sure, you can, size accordingly. Like I could just play 20, 25 shares or whatever. But with the commissions, it's really hard because if you end up trying to look at the spread on this thing currently, 39.70 to 110.20. Can you imagine if you just accidentally like hit the button? Let me smash the bid and by accident and get in at 39.70 and then it opens up at 106. You would cry. But that's probably why people put orders in down there. Just, you never know. But I lost my train of thought. No, I know you aren't with CMEG. I mean, obviously you would know, but it's weird that they would say that it costs that much because, I mean, as you could see, I just showed you what it would cost unless there's some hidden fees. But the guys that I've talked to in my room that use it, they've all told me what they pay, what they see, what I've seen on the screen. But I was talking about the commissions. When you're paying $5 just to get in, like say you get into a trade, with 25 shares or whatever, and you end up breaking even, it's like, it's hard because I remember I used to trade this way, and every once in a while I still do. Like you'll notice in a lot of my trades, I end up like just over my commissions because I've stupidly, instead of getting out for a loser sometimes, will wait, to get out of the trade where it covers my commissions because it's like $10 just to get in and out with one entry and one exit. It sucks. Like you don't want to have to basically pay $10 every time you trade. And now imagine, let me pull it up. Imagine a trade like I was in with Twitter, where I had to work on Twitter and look at the end trade on Twitter. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6 tickets. So that's $30. And I don't know if I pull it up. Yeah, I do. So I had $29.70 in commissions, and just because I fought the trade, I only made $13.50 because I was using 50 share lots, to get in and out. I managed to trade really well, but say I'm using 500 shares here, that's a huge difference. This number, you add a zero to it, so we would have been up $135. So that's a big deal, and the commissions wouldn't have mattered as much if we were using that amount, but we're not there yet. So when you have a smaller account, those commissions really add up. So to me, this was actually the definition of a good trade. Like we made a good trade. Because look at our first entry, it wasn't that great. Second entry, she still ran on us, and we actually got out of these shares, which is the plan. You had asked earlier about BPTH. I mean, this was pretty much what I was trying to tell you. So you add those shares, you look to get out. So now we have a higher average on the total amount. She runs again, so we add the shares back, and we got out of those shares. So now we have an even higher average, somewhere up here, probably in the middle. and we're just looking for this thing to come back down. And we actually waited and we ended up getting a nice profit as she broke under VWAP, as she was in a nice little descending triangle there too. So by managing the trade, we ended up with a nice profit, but the commissions ended up eating us up because we're using such small share size on a higher price stock. So when you pull up something, back to my original thing, like that was a $30-$40 stock. Imagine me trying to trade over $100 stock. It's impossible currently. I eventually hope to be there. And what was the other one? Twitter. Yeah, Twitter has been going nuts. Excuse me. Let's see. Yeah, she made her big move here. And I actually looked to trade this. And even in the video yesterday, I talked about how I wanted to trade it, but it was a fool me once kind of thing because she's very fakey. Twitter is very fakey. Like, she'll give you this move, like, down to VWAP, and instead of getting this move, like, is what usually happens after a big overextension, she'll, like, come down and then keep going. And that's what she did that day. I had to work her. But, I mean, I just didn't play it because, she was a little bit higher priced now, and she was on earnings. Apparently that did well. So I really just didn't want to mess with it. And I actually didn't even notice this, but she appears to be in gap fill, which goes to 42.14. So there was that too, but I didn't even notice that in the moment because I just told myself right away I wasn't playing it. Today, CLF, or actually I think CLF was yesterday, wasn't it? I don't want to zoom out too fast because it keeps crashing me. Let's see. Yeah, CLF was yesterday. I was actually watching CLF yesterday for the pop so I could get short for this move, but didn't happen. I think this morning, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I was actually watching any stocks. There really wasn't anything to watch. I was purely just using the scanner. Because RHE I couldn't play, RBZ I couldn't play. All the stocks that really got the volume today, I couldn't play. Yeah, Twitter is definitely one of them stocks that just, it has a mind of its own at times. I'm looking at the tops list on the scanners. I'm just kind of going through. PetX, that was a buyout. I know some people tried trading this thing today. I'm not sure why. IGC was another one that moved today. Let me scroll out. So as you can see, IGC made a big move. As you can see, not only was she on SSR, but we didn't have shorts. So I'm just very short biased at the moment. Just trying to grow the account the best way I know how. So everyone keeps asking me if I long. Yes, I used to only long, just like most people that are just starting out. But I found a strategy that works for me. 94% with it right now, so I'm not gonna try to fix what's not broken. JMIA, let's say Healy was on there. That made a huge move, higher priced. Oh, gotcha. Let's see, JM. What kind of? Yeah, this had 3.5 million in volume. Yeah, it made some good moves. You'll never see me play a move like this. Like, I probably wouldn't have played this because of this big red candle. The initial move, this is the move I would have been looking to play. So if I wouldn't have got this move, this is something I probably would have stopped out on if I didn't take my profits, which I totally would have at some point in this candle, in one of these two candles. But when you get a big extension like this, sure, you can look for the return to VWAP, but the odds are when you get big pullbacks like this and then she goes, she's going to, probably do this because she's actually really strong. And as you can see, this wasn't even her high a day. I mean, she pulls back, but then she still goes higher. I mean, this double top, and then when she breaks through, I don't really see it. This would have been a perfect long for sure. You draw the line across here, right here. When she broke through this level, and you can see she even comes down, taps it, and then she just kind of creates it's actually a pennant or a flag, whatever you want to call it. and then she breaks out of that. I mean, that was a pretty obvious long in my eyes. Never would I have probably looked to short the stock at any point. The only time you could have looked for a pattern to short this was the double top, but that's not. I'm really looking for the parabolic short, and to me, this isn't a parabolic short. This is more of a big move up, and then she gets a big pullback, and then she goes. A parabolic short would have been if she went straight to this level with no big pullback like that. Yeah, short bias is definitely the way to go right now. I definitely, I mean, at least for me, it's not for everybody. But yeah, Argen, that was yesterday too, that it made its bigger. Oh no, was it today? I thought it was yesterday. Now this is what I would call a parabolic short. And this came up. Looks like the volume wasn't that great on this, but I've started, I used to not trade really low volume, and I still won't. I probably wouldn't have traded this because of the volume, but I'm starting to notice it still does usually follow the rules for the most part, as long as there is some volume. It's the ones that have even less volume than this that, again, if there's no one that's coming in to sell and there's only people coming to buy, I mean, it's scary because you'll get like these candles like this and then it'll just keep going. But when you have big candles like this, big long green candles that are extending away from VWAP like this, I mean, it's hard not to take something like this. But as you can see, she did give you your pullback, but she didn't fade the rest of the day. She came back up. I want to say that was on earnings too. Nets, yeah, as you can see, I mean, this is the volume I'm talking about. I mean, look at this. This is just absolutely horrible. That's like swing trader volume. I mean, RHE, I watched it here and there, but it was really just with some popcorn. There was really no intentions of trading it because, like I said, I'm sticking to my strat right now. And as you can see, I couldn't short it. ARCI yesterday, ARCI, I could short this at the bell and was sad that I didn't. I'm trying to scroll slow, so here we go. We had shorts until here. So I could have shorted this, and I even said in my video I was so mad that I didn't, but I was feeling this. I felt that top right at the 930 area. You could feel it really struggling. Yeah, she popped up to 956. But even if you got in that 930 area, you didn't even need to add because, I mean, that thing just shot down through. And, I mean, she made this move so perfectly. It was crazy. And I had that in my video from this day. Was this yesterday? But, yeah, I was mad I didn't short that. But I didn't because of the float. I just can't do the floats here. Let me see. RHE or ARCI. So it doesn't even have the float listed on here, but the shares outstanding are 1.69 million. So if that's the shares outstanding, I mean, the float is easily under a million. I mean, which is just crazy to think about. And it basically just means that it's going to do it at once. And that's the thing, I could have felt that top at 930 and she could have gave us like a pullback to, 850 or whatever, and then just went to $20. And that's what happens on stocks with no floats, and that's why a lot of people play them. But to me, they're just gambling, and I'm not all about gambling. And I'll probably play something like this in the future, but with my account size, I'm just not looking to play that currently. Just got yelled at by the wife. She said I'm being too loud. Yes, I have looked at the short locate feature, but it's actually currently down. So, like if I go to locate a short, we'll say RHE 500, and you hit it. So they have it disabled right now. And I guess they're trying to update it because you can actually get shares from TradeZero through this. But yeah, it's actually unavailable. It's $25 as well to every time you locate. And it's $25 to locate, and then it'll give you a price for the shares. Sometimes it'll be like a penny per share, sometimes it's 2 pennies, sometimes it's 10 cents a share. So say, it's a penny per share and you have to pay that as well on top of the $25. Today. What about today? But yeah, SureTrader definitely took the shorts away on this one. You had them throughout here, and then when she hit this halt, they took them away. You didn't have them the rest of the day. Not that it would have mattered, because there was really nothing to play unless you were chasing. Which, don't chase. No chasing. Chasing is bad. Actually, one of the guys in the chat room tried chasing today, and I actually yelled at him. You know who you are. I didn't actually yell at him. Somebody else yelled at him. But I would have yelled at him if he didn't. And the worst part is he made money. Worst thing you can do is be rewarded for bad execution. Worst trade ever? I think everyone, well, obviously mostly everyone knows this by now. Oops. I'll show it to you. Because I am transparent. I have nothing to hide. It was actually right before I started using the scanners. So, yeah, just to show you guys my overall percentage, this is every trade I've ever made. I'm actually down overall, obviously. Like, here's my full graph. So when I first started, I took a big hit on a few stocks. My first day of trading, I lost like 12, or it was like $1,500 or something like that on a $5,000 account. Well, obviously it says 1141 here, but that's because I made a lot of money on an overnight trade, NEWA, NEWA, which I can scroll back to that. But then I started getting my stuff together, and I actually got way up and took a decent little chunk there, and then this was my worst trade ever right here, which was OCX. Right here. $1,250.47. As you can see, this is actually when I was really trying some new strategies. But between getting margin called a little for like 291 shares, and then all the overnight fees and stuff, the commissions really added up for this, because it was like it's $75 or something when they margin call you, when they have to do it. And then the overnight fees, like I just put them all for this last one. All of it added up correctly, and it was just horrible. It hurt. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think to locate fees, the locate fees on pretty much all brokers, I think is like pretty standard, $25. Yeah, it was, I started this trade off wrong. I totally didn't change the shares. I meant to take 300, started with 500. And actually, what day was this? I'll just show you what happened. 129. Oh, that's BPT. So I actually got into this in the pre-market. I actually got in this in the pre-market at, what was the 351, added at 416. So I got in somewhere, I think it was here. Yeah, it was here, because I was thinking it was going to come back down. And again, this was before I was using the new strategy. I don't really understand, looking back, how bad I still was. But then on this pop, I added at what, 416 or so. So my average was what? I need to 416, 351. So 70, it's like 80, 480 something. Or 380. At one point, as I'll fast forward or make it go faster, I was actually up $200. And I have a new rule that I will not get up from my computer desk without setting a hard stop, because wait till it gets there. But at one point I was right here. Okay, so she starts dying. I'm in 1,000 shares of this, right? At an average of like 385 or something like that. She comes down to, I want to say it's like 360 or so. And I'm like, I'm up $200. And my son was tugging on my shoulder that he had to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, this thing looks like it's going to break. that 360 area, because I remember I had a line drawn here because of, this. I don't remember. This is back when I drew lines galore, and I would draw them at every top and bottom. But I had the line drawn here. Let's see if I'll just draw it here for sake. And I was like, it's going to break. So I took him to the bathroom, and you're going to see what happens. Yeah, I'll explain that in one sec, Sublime. It's a good question. Actually a great question. So I'm sitting here just waiting. Obviously thinking to myself, if she breaks, I'm probably just going to cut for my loss. As my screen decides to be gay. Or maybe this is when it did happen. Okay. No. I don't think... I'm pretty sure this is when I was gone. I think this is the dip I was talking. I did have it in fast forward, so it probably happened a lot quicker than I thought. Yeah, because this is when I think this is when it goes. Or is it not? I guess yeah, maybe. Yes, no. I try to forget this trade as much as possible. No? Okay, not yet. Okay, so it does come down. I thought so. I thought it tested this area because I was up like $200. Yeah, it's right here. And she just looked like she had such force coming down. Yep, right here. So right here, my son's tugging on my shoulder. I have to go to the bathroom. Obviously, this is going 3 times slower in real time. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's go. Because I'm like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be up like $500. This thing's going to bust through, and I'm just going to make a lot of money. That was my thought process. What I should have been doing was taking off like 75% of my trade right there if I wanted to see if it would play out. But I literally let the full 1,000 ride. So now I'm taking them to the bathroom, and you'll see what happens next. It happens pretty quickly. So just remember, I was up $200 when I got up from my computer. With the average at like 385. And these are 2-minute candles, by the way. I mean, what's the worst that I come back to, right? Probably just back up near my average and get out break even. That's what was in my head. And then this happens. I wasn't gone but 4 minutes. As you can see, this is 2, and this would be 4. I don't think it actually finishes this candle. We'll kind of watch it. I'm pretty sure it's this candle. I always tell everyone it was 5 minutes just to round it, which it might have actually been, but I thought it was in this candle, but I guess not. Maybe it is the next candle. Yep, there she goes. And keep in mind, I'm not at my computer. I literally come back to this. Look at that. It's not done. Give it a sec. And there it is. It tried to halt at 509, and it finally halts at 525. So from down or up $200 to now down over, what was that, $1,500 in a matter of 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And I was a deer in headlights when this happened. This thing ends up running all the way up to like 7 something, and I'm just holding with the same original position, like thinking to myself, well, this thing's gonna come down eventually. And sure enough, I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, she got to 630, but now she's coming back down. She wasn't done. She decides to be that stock, the one that I happen to be in. There's 640 new high. Still not done. Look, it's like she kept trying to die. She didn't want to. I'm only continuing to go through this because, I mean, you can see she tries to die so many times. It's so frustrating. I'm just sitting here. I was just watching this. Literally, I ended up being in this trade for, it was like a week or something like that. But yeah, look at the run she makes end of day. She just couldn't die off. There's so many lessons to be learned from this trade, which I have, but she's still not done. That's the worst part. Like, look at that drop off. Or maybe she was. I thought she went over 7. I think I remember telling myself if she went over 7, my account was blown. Because at this point, at 692, I was down $3,300. I want to say it was. And then sure enough, like this drop that we got basically saved me. But at this point, I think it was right here, I got margin called out of like 200 and the 291 shares because I didn't meet the buying power requirements. And then I literally just wrote it out, kind of getting out of it slowly for the next week. But yeah. Yeah, it's hard to watch. I blew up my account once, all in on SPY options. I don't play options, and that's why. After taking a massive loss from Pennyland, yeah. And that happens, man. You can go on tilt. I'm a big poker player, and a lot of the emotions that come with trading stocks are from poker as well. And tilt is one of them. People that overtrade, they're tilted. That's what it basically is. It's just another name for it. If you don't mind me asking, are you doing this full time at the moment? Do you have a second job? What about bills and other stuff? So I am actually a stay-at-home dad. I used to work at my local government. I was there for 10 years. When my wife and myself had our 2 kids, there came a point when we had the second kid. Well, to give you the brutally honest truth, about 6 months into having our first kid, my father had actually retired to watch him. And let's just say he's a better grandfather than a caretaker. So we didn't really want him to, watch our firstborn anymore because he wouldn't follow simple rules on, just not doing certain things like giving him Orajel when he was teething and trying to feed him things that he shouldn't be eating and, just stuff like that. And so we actually moved to Florida. We took a little bit of a drastic approach, but my wife actually had been offered a job to go work in Florida. And it was where we vacationed all the time. So we thought it was a dream come true. We got to go live where we vacation all the time down in Clearwater, Florida. So we actually went down there and she ended up hating the people she was working with. We were there for 3 months. We bought a house, everything. We told ourselves we'd give it a year and see if we liked it, but it ended up being 3 months. Started getting homesick, didn't like the people we were working with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ended up moving home, and I obviously couldn't go back to my job. I obviously had planned to be a stay-at-home dad and just maybe work on the side when we got down there. But that never happened. We weren't there long enough. So when we came back, she got her old job back, and she makes good money, enough to where we bought a smaller house so that basically I could stay at home if I had to without a job at all and take care of the kids. And so she covers all the bills completely. And when I actually umpire on the side like I am now, because it's baseball season, all that money is extra. And so, if we want to go on vacations, buy extra things for the kids, Christmas money, birthday party money, stuff like that. That's usually what that's for. And currently we just paid off her 2015 car that she has, and I have a 2015 as well, and we're currently paying that off. We took the amount that she was paying on her car, and that's now going towards mine, and we're getting that payment almost, we're not almost there, but we're getting that down. So just good budgeting, and all that good stuff, really helps with all of that. So it does, maybe to your point, it helps trade because the money that I'm trading with isn't needed. So it helps with the emotional side of that. And a lot of people, especially professionals, will tell you, and I'll tell you, I'm not a professional, but I'll tell you that if you're trading with money that you need to pay bills, it's not a good thing. And this is something I learned playing poker, because I tried that for a little while, going to the casinos and playing poker, trying to use the winnings. And when you go sit down at the table knowing that you need to win money, it's totally different than when you go knowing that you can lose money because it's extra money, if that makes sense. And it should be the same way with the stock market. There's going to be times where you lose money, but if you have that added pressure that this is your way of paying the bills, then it's not going to be easy. Now, if you can get good at it with money that you can afford to lose, like I am currently trying to do, and you develop, your habits, and you end up becoming very profitable, to the point where you can use that money to live off of, and like say you're working a full-time job now, if you get to the point where you're making full-time job type money, then, and you're consistent with it, consistency is number one. You have to be consistent. Then that's something you can explore. But I highly do not recommend just, saying, oh, I see all these people making all this money, I'm going to quit my job and do it for a living. Like it doesn't happen like that. This is not a get rich quick scheme. I've been at it since August of last year, and as you can see, overall, I'm still down because of commissions for the most part. I mean, here's my graph. I'm almost back to zero after I was up, but this is all without commissions. With commissions, I'm down a hefty amount, 19, 29, 24. And that's not including, when I was paying for trade ideas. It's not including the scanners I'm paying to use now with ISW. So there's other added cost. This doesn't include like the wiring fees to put the money in. It doesn't include the wiring fees when you take money out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot that goes into this. And sure, I feel like I'm profitable now. And if you look at where I'm headed, and when I finally start scaling up and stuff, like this will all hopefully be a moot point. But this is what the beginning really looks like. This is the harsh truth that a lot of people don't want to understand. They want to just assume, you're going to win and, make millions. It's not how it works. Like I'm putting in the hard work now and trying to become consistent so that, down the line, I'll become a consistently profitable trader, and, with obviously much larger scale and whatnot. So that's the truth. So hopefully that answers your question. So yes, I have a second job. The bills and other stuff the wife's job covers. My second job helps with extras. And no, I am not doing this full time. I actually do it full time. Like I trade as if I was full time, but my full time job is actually taking care of my kids. They're 3 years old and 1 year old. Oh God. What's up, Tom? Learning to day trade in the house. His channel just got over 1K subs. Represent. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get them sub rates up. No, I'm just kidding. That's not why I started my channel. I started my channel as a journal, and it will stay that way if we continue to grow and we can help other people out. That's the whole point. At no point in time did I start this for any kind of fame or money. Bracket orders, yeah, the OCO. I actually used to use those when I was paper trading on Thinkorswim, and it's really hard to use bracket orders just because you really kind of have to see your range. I mean, if that's what you're into, like if you want to Red Dead Redemption 2, yeah, Well, you got to finish the games every once in a while. Or else what would you have to look forward to for the RDR3? But yeah, OCO brackets are to me a little challenging because you're basically guessing. I'd rather use like a trailing stop or something like that, but I mean, if you're using an OCO bracket, you're kind of just guessing where. I mean, you can have lines drawn, and sure, you could use them like that, but to me, it's a little bit different because to me, those lines can change. Like this one, like if you had, let's scroll out a little bit. If you had this line drawn, I don't know if I have the horizontal line on. Yeah, I do. So if you had that line drawn and you were in up here and your OCO bracket just said, I want to get out above this line, but this move all happened at once, it would suck because you got filled in here where you could have just kind of let this play out and used the time and sales or level 2, whatever you want to use to kind of feel where the bottom of this candle was when she actually stopped. So, I mean, that's just, I don't know. The brackets to me are kind of like a potential miss on a lot of profit. But I definitely would, if you are looking to use the brackets for whatever reason, I would more so say maybe just use half the bracket. Use like if you're afraid that you're having trouble stopping out when you should by yourself, instead of a bracket, just use a hard stop. And if you're maybe taking profits too early, maybe just try to use a trailing stop, like maybe set it 10, 15, 20 cents, whatever it may be, and just kind of let it ride out. So that way you'll hit the stop, but I don't know. Using the bracket orders is, I don't know. It's just not something logical to me. 16 months. And to be honest, I'm coming up on 3 months, and I was really thinking I'd be nowhere near this. I was thinking like hoping for 50. So the fact that I am where I'm at, that's pretty awesome. But I definitely appreciate the support. Hopefully, I beat 16 months. No offense. Were you only posting on YouTube? People get 1K in a week by just commenting. What do you mean just commenting? I need to try that. I only comment on usually I'm only commenting on videos that I support, so you'll usually only see me commenting on pretty much just the other YouTubers that I know are legit and actually take time to create good content, legitimate content. Took a long time to do it for some reason. Your content is great. It will come soon. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. It must be my outro. What do you think? Stab, stab. Pow, pow. I don't know what it was with you, Tom, because, I mean, I've been trading pretty hardcore and watching YouTube pretty hardcore, since back in July, August. And I never once came across your channel. And then just out of nowhere, what was it, like a month ago? You came up on my recommended. So I guess the algorithm really just hated you. I will show you when I get 1K. AKA you're just getting subscribers from just commenting on other people's videos. It's interesting. Thumbnails yeah. There's thumbnails, man. My new thumbnails, guys. Thank Tom. He kind of taught me how to use Photoshop and even gave me a nice little template to use. Appreciate that. So I'm leasing my outro of saying peace to him for that. That's my payment. I was getting on him pretty hard about that today. It's totally being funny about it, but I lost connection. Crappy. It must be midnight. Sure is. I lost connection. I was getting on him about saying peace at the end of his videos because I was saying how it's funny. He started to like really get into it after I had met him, and I assumed he started watching my videos. I wonder how OCX is doing now, just out of curiosity. Let's take a look on the daily. What was my average? 380. Yeah, she did dip down there under for a while. She actually kind of came back up. Get top comments before videos blow up. I have commented on some like random videos that were not trading related, just answering some other people's questions and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I could look into marketing my channel a little bit more, but I've been pretty organic so far. I mean, I do post on like Twitter and Instagram, but I don't really think I have that many followers on those. I think a lot of it's just through like word of mouth, and I know I picked up a few when I joined Tom's Discord, and but I don't really like go out of my way to really promote the channel because it's not what I'm here for to say. You know, if promoting the channel comes from something like earlier, like he had asked about time and sales, like of course I'm going to say, hey, I did a video on that, you know, feel free to go watch it. I'm not like saying, hey, I'm the end all be all of traders, like you need to learn from me, all these other guys are crap, because that's horse hockey. I can't tell you how many times I've referred people to other people's pages because I've watched a video on their page that describes something way better than I feel I could describe at any point in time, you know. And yes, I've even shown people like Patrick Whelan videos and Ross Cameron videos and stuff, and I mean, it hurts sometimes, but I mean, there was a time where they were putting out decent videos on certain things, and I mean, there's a reason they got as big as they did, and it's just a shame that they're both kind of going different directions now. Yeah, Tom, I think that's one of the most frustrating things about having a smaller channel right now is you really look for like I guess the conversations to happen. So it's like, you know, you're always saying like, you know, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. And you don't, I mean, you get it from, you know, the regulars and people that you're supporting as well, and people that are supporting you and stuff like that. But it's like, you always want that conversation to get going. You're getting that now, you know, where you get these random people that are just like, well, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And it's like, I want to answer those questions. And a lot of the reason I want to answer those questions is because when you do something over and over again in your head, you tend to reteach yourself. Like sometimes, you know, they'll ask a question. You're like, wow, I haven't really thought about that in a long time. You know, that's a great question. And then you almost have to reteach yourself in order to answer that question. And it, you know, it might pop something back up in your head, and the wind is really strong. Yeah, Wheeland and yeah, Connor over at Boiler Room. Ross, man, when I first started watching Ross, he was at 125,000 subs. And he's at what, like 400 now? I mean, that's disgusting. And he's the one I hate the most because he's a scam. I'll say it right out. He's a scam. I'm not going to make a video on it and get views that way, but he's front loading. He's front loading his subs, and it's not nice. You don't want me to give you a shout out when I blow up and get it? Oh, hell yeah. I was here from the beginning, bro. You got to give me that shout out. Organic is the way to go, I think. Yeah, I already read that one. Actually, Wheeland has like a... Well, and that's the thing. You know, Wheeland, when I first started watching him, he was actually only at like 25,000. And, but he did spike up. He's at like 60,000 now. Something like that. And speaking of blowing up, Kevin Avery has a great video on that. What's up, man? How you doing, Kevin? was talking about you earlier, in a good way, actually. Believe it or not. Me and Kevin like to go back and forth throughout the day. It's amusing. I think you can ask Kevin, but I think I get a lot of people sometimes from their like they'll say something and they think, it's putting me down, which sometimes it does. But I always come back like with something crazy, like putting myself down even further, or just something along that nature, just to make it seem like they're not getting to me, which most of the times they're not. It's just, my personality is to kind of think the worst, not think the worst. I don't know. I'm explaining this incorrectly. I have a very dirty sense of humor. So when something is spit at me, I've definitely heard it before, most likely. So it's very easy to kind of just come back with something even worse, even if it's about myself, just to kind of get them to be like, huh? It's crazy. I guess I need to start starting these live streams at like 11, because that's when everybody's on. Everybody's coming back from the bars. You drunk, Kevin? Martini Friday? It's Saturday now. When you coming up to play that round of golf with GDT? Yeah, here you go, Tom. I don't know if I turned Kevin onto him, but I've mentioned you to the guys a couple times now on several different occasions, just about some of the stocks you've traded and how you tend to overtrade. Kevin, he said he was going to give me a cruise ship magnet. I'm still waiting on that. That was months ago. I'm wondering if it just got lost in the mail. He also said I'm going to get a shout out at some point too. Guess that's lost in the mail too. Kevin, what was your best trade this week? Let me try to get back on topic for even a couple minutes. I'm basically just taking questions at this point, but let's see if I can find what your best trade is. But I know how you trade, so it's a little probably a little too easy. Kevin's really popular, man. You gotta watch out. The one come up? What is that? I don't even know what that means. Is that a Canadian term? Come up. That reminds me of the song Thrift Store. Doesn't he say that in there? My brain is all over the place right now. Tom, I wouldn't say you overtrade. One of the most successful traders I know, he trades just like you, but not. I wouldn't say he trades just like you. He trades the same amount as you. And I wouldn't consider him overtrading. He's just taking advantage of the full move, if that makes sense. Like instead of just trying to hit the top and then sell at the bottom, or short the top, cover at the bottom, or in your case, buy the dip, sell the rip. Instead of just doing one entry, one exit, getting that initial entry and then trying to play each, you're looking for the big move, yes, but within the move, you still get your ups and downs. And that's what you like to try to play. And that's what the trader I'm talking about does, just usually going the other way. Tom is on the boom boom train. He started using my outro and then all of a sudden, just to the moon. Yeah, Kevin's grown, man. I remember watching Kevin when I was watching Kevin before he blew up his account the one time, and then he was paper trading for a long time. I was just a lurker. Kevin didn't even know I was watching him. I remember watching Kevin because GDT and Kevin. I was with GDT when he was at like 500 subs, and he kind of blew up. And I was with Kev. I think you were under 100 or around maybe a little over 100. And I just remember watching you saying, you know, he's obviously a legit trader. Like, he's showing you everything. And Kevin was definitely inspiration for me to start my channel. I was like, you know, when I start a channel, I want to be like Kevin because, you know, he's true, you know, to what he's doing. And same with GDT. I couldn't ask to work with two better guys on a daily basis because, I mean, they're authentic. It's the best way to put it. Jeez, this thing's been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Holy shnikes. Guy's keeping me up this late for. I have to work tomorrow. What time is my game tomorrow? I don't remember, to be honest. It says I have 12 hours, so 12 to 2. Yeah, I got back-to-back games tomorrow. My wife sent me a message 37 minutes ago. It says, "Please cut this soon. You have kept me up most of the time, unless you are getting up with them, aka the kids, in the morning and letting me sleep." That's not good. I'm scared. It's true, man. Oops. It's very true, Kevin. So take it for what it's worth. Tom, I probably would have been watching you too, but apparently YouTube didn't want me to find you. I typed learning to day trade in the YouTube search bar forever. So I don't know why you never came up. Hey man, if you're homophobic, leave now. That's all I'm going to say. Because me and Kevin, we're going to the boom boom room. Let me this gets posted in our chat pretty much every day. The Live Grooves boom boom room, cocktails and dancing. All right, Tom. I shall catch you probably Monday, I guess, eh? Eh? Here's something for you stopping by. Give you a participation trophy. So, does anyone have anything to ask? You too, I love homos, but I gotta leave. Sounds good, man. I'll catch you on, I don't know. Maybe we'll play some Rocket League over the weekend, or if not, I'll catch you on Monday. The helicopter? But one last call for Tom would fit in very well. I don't think he understands how well he would fit in. Yeah, I agree. I'm working him, Kevin. I'm working him. Yeah, I agree, Sublime. Like I said, the whole reason I was doing this on Fridays is because it kind of allows me not to do it on Saturday and Sunday because of my working. Because usually on Sunday, the reason I can't do it Saturday night is because usually my games on Sunday are in the morning. And obviously I don't want to do it Sunday night because you want to get rest for waking up Monday to work. So I kind of defaulted me to doing it on Friday nights. Maybe in the future, you know, and maybe when the winter time comes, we can move it to Saturday because baseball will be over. So it's definitely something to think about. But for now, we're going to stick to Fridays just for that reason. So what do you want to say about Tom? I'm gonna call 12:30 the end since we're just babbling at this point. Unless anybody has some real questions about some real stocks. I can like feel my wife staring at me through the walls. You guys feel that? It's kind of scary. Did you guys I was actually, I actually wanted to look at the SPY on the daily earlier. I never did. I was curious. Yeah, I was curious if she hit her all-time high. She was close. The 293.94, what'd she hit? Why isn't it coming up? 293.49. Wow, so close. Let me look at that dip, man. Do you guys remember this dip and everyone saying the market's crashing? It wasn't until here when she broke this line and she was coming down. I mean, everyone was like, holy crap, we're in a recession, we're going down, blah blah blah. But what do they call this? The dead cat bounce or whatever? I mean, look at that V. I mean, that's a pattern, guys. I mean, look at that thing. Once she was like here and she kind of confirmed it, like on this day when she broke up, and she came back down and even retested that right here. Man, if I played options or something like that, I mean, you could have bought some probably 270s. What is that? About a month? I don't exactly know how options work completely, but if you could have bought some 270s for a month away or so, would have made a killing, because those would have had to be cheap. Probably getting those for like 10 cents. Was it because of the government shutdown? You paper bought at 233? Was it 234? It never even got 233. Liar. Was it just a technical breakdown? If I remember correctly, this just kind of happened. I don't really think there was any reason behind it happening, because I remember saying as it was happening, back when we had in 2008 with the housing market crash and stuff like that, it was just started crashing, because this was right after Trump was already in office for a little while, right? And the markets were climbing, and then just out of nowhere it just dumped, and then it dumped, and then it dumped, and then it dumped really hard. And I mean, everybody was saying it was just going to keep going, and we were just in a really bad spot. And then I think all the people got proven wrong, because this thing just has been climbing since. I mean, she's definitely going to break this. This is 94. See how close we can get to it. That's pretty close, 85. I mean, we're right there. We're teeter-tottering it. I mean, when she breaks through, I think she's just going to go right over 300. That'd be my guess. You can't really ask for much more of a build-up, huh? It's crazy. Well, they didn't even let what's that? Pacific Gas. I think it's PCG. Yeah, PG. Yeah, it's Pacific Gas and Electric. If you remember, they literally filed bankruptcy, and then they came out and said, the one people were like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. They never gave them any money or anything. They just said something. They said it wouldn't be in their best interest for PG&E to go bankrupt. And look at what this thing's done ever since. I mean, this is when the wildfires were happening, and then it kind of bounced. I actually was long in here, somewhere in here, and I actually waited a few days, and she came up, and I got out in one of these two candles. I don't remember what it was. That was back when I still didn't have a effing clue. I mean, I kind of had a decent idea of, buying the wash, but yeah, anyways. Then this was when they said, okay, they are responsible. Because if you remember, everyone was waiting to hear if they were actually responsible. And then they were like, yeah, they're probably responsible. Then they started getting sued a lot. And then they said, okay, we're going bankrupt. And that's when she hit 507. Now, keep in mind, look at where this thing was. It was like hovering around up here. This was actually the earlier fire from like the year before. And so she just kind of declined. Then she started rising up a little bit, and then those fires hit. And I mean, that's just crazy. I wish I could, I don't know how to get the volume profile, but I bet look at all the volume, because it was trading up here. Can you imagine all the people that lost all this money? Imagine the people that were in this, right? And after this fire, they're just chilling, thinking, okay, eventually it'll come back up. And then it's just kind of going sideways. They're like, okay, it's starting to come back up. And then bam! I mean, I do remember HMNY. Or I wasn't around when this actually happened, but yeah, I remember stories, and I've actually went back on demand and just messed around with it. Were you around for this, Kevin? I think I was. When did you actually start? Well, yeah, you've said you've been on and off trading for like 3 years, right? And Kevin makes a very good point. Um, it's quite possible that the actual recession is. Yeah, and that's true. I don't disagree with you. We are up pretty high, and we haven't had like a real recession recently. So I mean, it could be coming. But Kevin makes a good point, saying if there's a bunch of people saying it's going to do something, the odds are it's going to do the opposite. That's very true. This is just nuts. Can I invest some money into stocking your sweet tight hole? That totally caught me off guard. Well, guess what? It ain't that tight. I don't even know if I should. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest. I think that's pretty funny. But that's just the kind of person I am. Imagine all the shorts in PCG at the moment getting squeezed in a month or so. Yeah. Let's go back to PCG. Oops. I was typing it in the chat. PCG. So when you look at this, yeah, imagine all the people that were short in this move here when she gapped down. Imagine all the people that are short in here and they got what they wanted, and then even the people that got short in here thinking, okay, this thing's going to zero because they're going to go bankrupt, because that's the rumor that was going around. And then sure enough, they said they were going bankrupt. So just imagine all the people that are in here as well. Like you said, when this thing starts squeezing, I bet she gets up somewhere in near 40. What's recorded? Me saying that it's. He actually just said something else that's actually blocking it. I'm not sure if I want to let it go through. That's a little much. 43 Bad Wolf. I don't know how you can make it cleaner, but try to make it a little bit cleaner. I bought PCG at 602. 602. Did you really? Like, honestly? Let's see. 602 is right around here. So you would have had to have bought it on this day. Really? You would have bought when? That was literally when they said, that was the day they said they were going bankrupt. I think it was this day because of the big gap down. And I'm pretty sure this is the day where the company came out and said it's not in the best interest for them to go bankrupt. I mean, that was a big move. But yeah, I do agree this thing's probably going to squeeze up at some point. Couldn't agree more, actually. Especially if they're not going bankrupt, and there hasn't been any news on it recently. Well, that's some crazy fear. I want to rub my shaft against you in the night whilst you moan as I bite your neck, teasing you until you... You're better at this than the guys in the chat during the day. I almost want to say that this is Tom. A different screen name. I really do. I wish I knew who you were. It has to. Excuse me. It has to be somebody that we know. Because how else would they have found the stream? Just randomly. I don't think some guy is just gonna randomly find this this stream, and that is a bit much, though. I mean, it's funny, but it's a bit much. I put him in timeout. Yeah, but he's not kidding. I mean, he's got his way with words. You have to say that. I don't know if he's put some serious thought into that or what. So Kev, if you had to say in, I don't know, like one sentence, what would you say the best thing about the ISW scanners would be? Yeah, we got 2 minutes and some seconds. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it at 12:30. I need to get like a nice outro. I don't have a good outro for the stream. The outro I have works for the videos, but wouldn't really work for the stream. If anybody has any questions, I will go past 12:30 if there's any legitimate questions to answer. But if not, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it at 12:30. I actually just downloaded the movie Rogue Trader from 1999. I'm gonna probably watch that tomorrow night if I have any time to myself. Oh, I also recommend the show Billions. It's a great show. Me and my wife just started watching it. We're almost done the first season. It's very good. It actually gives you a good insight to how like hedge funds work. A lot of good information in there, and it's very entertaining. It just kind of shows you the dark side of hedge fund trading, which I'm sure it happens. They actually brought in real. It's 12:28 for me. I'm in Maryland, but yeah, they brought in real Wall Street like veterans to kind of make sure that the show seemed, on the legit side. It's kind of why I tried to start doing these at like later for me. 9:30 is kind of late for me, because I know that a lot of people, if they're on like the West Coast or something, it would be a little bit harder for them to tune in earlier. But I do think I'm just kind of in the wrong space as far as time slots for doing this, but it is what it is. Hopefully when we get a bigger following, we'll have a good turnout. Finds the best opportunities, negative intensity and positive intensity, rebuying PCG on fear and shorting euphoria works every day. GDTUNI 90% plus. Yeah. Couldn't said it better. And like I was saying, Kev, let me show you. Yeah. When you look at my trades since starting with the new strategy, and I remember I went back and checked, but CLF, this was my first one, because here's OCX. This is like when I first kind of came in with you guys, and these trades were using my old strategy, and CLF was the first like pop and drop strategy that I used. So based off of just that, let's see if I'm at 93.75%. 30 out of 32 trades, and I should be 31 out of 32, because that ACHC, I ran into that buying power issue. But, it took a while, and I was actually, even, I think when I was at like 20 out of 22, I was actually still losing money because of the IVC loss, because that was a max loss that I had set at the $200. I think it was at 202 is what I ended up cutting it at. Yeah, 202. But the ACHC was just very frustrating, because we battled this, and I tried to get in at the top. This was right before I think I started saving all the screenshots. Let me see. DSS. So I started saving the screenshots at some point. But yeah, the ACHC, I literally tried to hit the button right where it was at the top. It ended up being the top. And I ran into buying power issues because SureTrader had it restricted 1 to 3 instead of 1 to 6, or 3 to 1 instead of 6 to 1. Let me check out your channel real quick. What is it? No. All right, can I click on your name? No. Let's see. No. See if I can just search you. NYSE Bulls. There you are. That is so not cool. I mean, maybe it's because of my name, but when I used to type in volatility trading into here, I didn't even show up. Like, you had to like scroll way down. I guess because, you know, there's a bunch of more popular stuff with a lot of views, but literally I would check this like, I don't know, every like 30 subs or so, 20, 30 subs. And I started to like slowly make my way up. And I think it was, I didn't check it like from 100 to now. But I think it was at like 90 or 95, I want to say. I was like, I think 2 from the top. And then it was literally just like last week I checked it and I was up top and I was like, oh. Like, finally, when people type in volatility trading, I'm the top result. But for the longest time, I wasn't. It was depressing. Let's see how you trade real quick, right before I go to bed.
Bears, welcome to the NYSE Bulls channel
Put you
again.
in the spotlight.
And today is Friday, April the 26th, 2019. And we're bringing you a live
Where's that
video of
camera,
our
man?
trading session for today.
Just kidding.
We took
I
2
didn't actually
trades,
have a camera for a while.
both on RBZ. They were short positions. And yeah, this is our
Short
first live
RBZ.
footage that we'll be showing
Who,
you. And
which broker
this is
you
right
with?
now I'm playing a
Oh,
recording
you're with TradeZero.
of
Nice,
this
yeah.
morning's trade.
TradeZero pretty much has everything.
So, yeah,
they
looking at the time here, this is when
just
the
can be a
bell
little pricey at
opens.
times.
RHE was pretty hot because it spiked up all the way to 100%, and it was pretty much the top gapper of the watch list
Sublime,
this
I think,
morning. It was gapping up 50%, I believe.
yeah.
So
I never
looking
hit
at
that on the
looking
first
right
watch,
off the
but-
bat, this thing just
Brian,
spikes.
What's up, man? I think,
Right, and the next candle is like a big red candle, but this keeps going on for
oh, yeah,
the
'cause
next
Tom from
few.
learning the day
candles.
trade, I think it was like 800.
So this is one of the things we missed out
Wanna
on
say 800
this
subs?
morning was definitely.
Guess I may mute you on your video. Yeah, I think Tom was at like 800 subs and he started getting promoted a little bit because that's when I found him. It was before he was at 1,000. Yeah, anybody wants to meet the man, the myth, the legend? He's right here. Intensity Stock Watch. I think I accidentally said his name. I don't know if he wanted me to do that, but I don't think he cares. Doing good. I actually, it's funny because if I didn't pull up Bull's channel here, I probably would have been cutting it off right before you got in here. I mean, most of the time people do skip through. And that's kind of why I attempt to keep my videos shorter, just because the attention span of people now is a little bit on the slower side. Does TradeZero actually show your entries and exits? Let's see. Oh, you're in a position, so I guess not. You got 200 shares at 744. Am I just missing it? So you got in somewhere around here. I wonder, I'm going to try to catch where you got in. Oh, yeah, so you rode through all of this. Okay, so you got in. So you put the order in here. Not exactly, to me, an ideal entry. I mean, you had the big flush. She's obviously finding a support here. I definitely would have been looking for this thing to go up before she goes back down. So, not exactly an entry I probably would have been looking for, to be honest. As you can see, she squeezed on you right after you got in. Now, something like this, you're looking for the higher low after the big move. That would have probably been a much better entry. Because now, look, you're fighting for this to come back down to where you just initially got in, where if you would have got in up here, you'd be making some money. Brian, I got to make up for not trading. So his Frank for sure. That's not his name. I said his name if you can remember it. So you got out. It actually ended up being a decent trade, but I mean, that's a tough spot to be in. Imagine if she decided to go high a day on you. There's one thing I've learned from Frank is that you cannot get into a trade without a plan. So I don't know if you had a plan, but I hope you did. I think ISW over here probably just got back from doing CrossFit for the 4th time today. Okay. So did you get back in here? Because I thought you were out. Okay, so you are. So 7:44. All right, I need to stop clicking. 7:44. Wait. Oh, so you actually, okay. Wait, oh, you're rewinding within, okay, I'm an idiot. And then, did you take it? Oh, no, you just went backwards. So this actually breaks your little trend line, which is not a bad trend line to have drawn. Just imagine if you had the entry up there, though. That would have been nice. And even so, I guess if you did get in here, I mean, I don't know. To me, that would have just been, that's a hard entry. You said you had a second trade or did you already take it? I'm actually really curious to watch your videos because I've always been interested in Trade Zero for when that time comes. So I can kind of see the inner makings of how it works. I was curious if it tells you how much the shorts cost you before somewhere. I don't see. You'd have to tell me if it is somewhere. Yep, his name's Brian. B for short. That's why we all call him B. Why'd you have PetX on your watch list? It was a buyout. Why was everyone watching PetX today? Hey, Brian, you have any good questions? Maybe a question that you know the answer to already, but you think it'll be a good answer for everyone? $11 for, yeah, see, that's nuts. Does it say that somewhere on the screen, just out of curiosity? Or do you have to look it up? I'm trying to see if I see it. Let me blow this up. See, bid 12 ask. I don't even see anywhere where it says if it's shortable. Look at you showing the equity. Nice, man. Props. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm going for. Just the straight transparency. No one can really question you if you transparent from the get. But I didn't really care if people were questioning me at all anyway, because it's just for the sake of a journal for me. Is this the same? I don't know. This is Arky. Look at you. You actually made the trade that I didn't. Oh, you actually bought and then sold into it. Nice. Good identification of the top there. Let's see. Close. So you're in a 63 out of. Nice. Yeah, man, look at you. You got 6 subscribers now. See, I gave you a shout out. Got 6 subscribers. You only got 2 videos. You've only been here for 1 day. Woot woot. That's how it's done. You can see I watch a lot of baseball videos. They're always trying to promote them. Yeah, maybe Kevin will give you a shout out. Never gets old, Kevin. Never gets old. Let's look at Tesla. Man, GDT should have held. Should have held. That thing is just tanking. You know, the funny part about Tesla is I really think they're going to end up over 400, if not even way higher. It's just a matter of time. I mean, I actually watch a lot of Tesla videos, and their cars literally have everything they need in them right now. The ones that they're selling, I mean, even the older ones, just waiting for a software update. And they just had their, I don't know, how would you, autonomy day? I think autonomy. I think that's how you say it. And it looks awesome. I mean, imagine being able to get in your car, put in an address, and just do whatever the F you want because the car takes you there. How awesome. I mean, it's going to be safer than any person driving, just with the technology of being able to see things that you can't see, just being safer and, you know, the just overall standpoint. I mean, if I had extra money to throw at something, I would be looking for this thing to base out, and I would be throwing some money at it. Not giving any advice. This is just, you know, my opinion. Obviously got to say that, but I can't see this thing going much lower. I mean, it already broke this key point, and I can't really see it. I mean, with what they have to offer, like I get that it's going to take them a long time to get there, but boy, when they get there, they're going to do wonders. That's all I'm going to say on that about. What's Forrest Gump say? That's all I got to say about that. Being solo? What do you mean? Isn't Solo oh yeah, they're the ones that, isn't that the little 3-wheel car like up in Canada or something? That makes no sense. I'm pretty sure that's them. God, I didn't realize they had, was this their IPO? Yeah, they're pretty new. I love looking at charts like this. It's like if I could short these when they make these big moves, like wasn't what was the other one that just happened? Yeah, the one-seaters. Yeah, and aren't they 3 wheels? Was it RBC or RBZ? I mean RBZ. Yeah, like look at this thing. Well, no, it wasn't this one, but I mean this is a good example. Like every time it goes up, look at where it finishes. Up, finish, up, finish. Up, finish, up, I mean, there's literally, and this is the only one where it has any kind of like strong finish to the day. This thing is just nuts. Oh, here, I'm gonna try to. I love Trading Monkey. I got my 1 minute, my 5 minute, my 15 minute, my level 2 time and sales. All right, we're gonna watch Arky go. Look at Arky coming out of the gates here. She's flushing, and boom, bought my 300 shares. And here she goes, and man, I got out just a little too early. Look at what she did after I got out. But I got plus 6 cents, and I'm happy with that. I'm learning every day. God, I love you, Trading Monkey. I love you so much. Look at this thing go. Boom, boom, boom. I'm sorry, Trading Monkey. I really mean that from the best place in my heart. I do. Oh, you are such a character. It makes us laugh in the best of ways. That I wouldn't be surprised if you did record. Good old Trading Monkey. I love watching his videos. I look forward to his video every day. He knows that. I comment on his videos almost every day. If I feel I can help him, I try to help him. But he is learning. He is learning. Every single day, he does seem to learn something. What was back? We'll go back to the dailies here. Was it Archie? I remember there was a big, yeah, maybe it was Archie, because it's doing the same thing. Where, yeah, like every time it runs, bam, bam, runs, bam. Just gets, look at this one, just the other day. She got up to 9:56 and just slammed. Closes at 5:21. Just nuts. Now you're going to get your shout out. Or you were waiting for something like that. Now you're going to. No, Trading Monkey is great. One day, I hope to get a shout out on Trading Monkey's channel from the parrot. Everyone talks about the parrot. I've never heard the parrot. I don't even know what they're talking about. I'm starting to think it's like a voice that he does, and they're just being trolls. I don't even know. Unless he actually has a parrot. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this one up just because. I don't know, what's that one? What's this one? Yeah, same bulls. Yeah, we'll see you around, man. Keep at it. Yep, here it is. Let's see. Look at these candles. They have bottom and top wicks, which is not really what you're looking for, for a parabolic short or pop and drop, whatever, You'd be looking for the 950 area.
I'm so focused.
At least to get a little bit extended here, but this 930 area is definitely struggling. A starter position here would probably be okay. Okay, here's the pop over that. And she's right back under. So if you weren't in, you probably are looking to get in there around 930.
It was so obvious.
And look, we had shorts. Surprisingly, Short Trader has shorts for this. Usually when Short Trader never has shorts. This would definitely probably be a good area. She's starting to feel a little weak here in the 930s. All right, so we're under that 9 area with Archie here.
So frustrating.
Like I said before, we'd be looking for 850 at least. Here she comes.
So frustrating.
Did you get part of this? Just can't trade this with the float.
You were long on
my
this.
State of mind this morning. I wouldn't trade this anyway, even if I was 100% here. I mean, the float's just too low, and it could be doing whatever it wants.
Look at me. I'm looking at my scanner. What the hell's moving at this hour?
Okay, as you can see, we got under that 850 area.
And then she flushes.
Probably be looking for VWAP here because she shot. Oh, yeah. Hey, Kevin, perfect. We actually were having, funny, a discussion earlier. Who was it that was asking? Was this? Yeah, it was Sublime. So if you're still here, Sublime, this is actually perfect. About CMEG and their pricing. I think I've tried looking up the wrong CMEG so many times. I always forget the elite part. Yep, it was. And I even showed that in my video, how the shorts went poof. Because I remember looking at it later and I was like, wait a minute, our shorts are gone. Now I got to remember how I even got there. Pricing. Oh, it was under the platforms, the trading platforms. There we go. View all trading platforms. And then I said I was going to DOS and then looking at market data. Yeah, Sublime was saying that people were saying they're paying, was it like 140 to 180 a month or something? Which I wasn't trying to call him a liar. I was actually genuinely curious, But when I was looking at it, because I was saying, well, look, I see 115, and then with me with market data, I would only be using, and look, now this is actually 150, which is weird because it said $3 earlier. It's kind of interesting. This is this different? This looks different. Yeah, so mine would only be 450. This is actually a different market data sheet, and this actually looks different too. Did I click something different? I think I clicked Elite Pro, but that said Elite Pro. These software fees. 25. This is weird because now I remember there was a fourth button too. Yeah, it was like platform highlights or something. Let me try clicking the market data up here. Yeah, see, this is the one that came up before. So even with this one, CMEG had them continually. I was surprised no one else had them. Oh yeah, the shorts. Yeah, I was really surprised that Short Trader had them, but they took them away pretty quick. Once they realized that they knew that thing was going to come back down. Yeah, but my software fee, do they make you pay the 35? Because when I'm looking at the breakdown, like I wouldn't need all of that because I don't use level 2. So if I just wanted level 1, it would be 3 here for the NYSE, and the NASDAQ. So it would be 6. And then I'm pretty sure that's all I would need is just the level 1. I don't think there's anything else you actually need. Because I don't want any of the pink sheets. I don't need the level 2 and stuff like that. But he was saying they were paying, some of them were paying up to 180, and I was like, well, I guess you can get there if you add all that stuff. But even here, if you get the discount, it's 34. Like, so yeah, 35, like you said, for the level 2. But I don't need the level 2, so mine would only be an extra 6 for the level 1. That's so weird that it showed me 150 for, maybe it's different if you use DOS, I guess. So technically mine would only be 150 and 3, so it would only be 450. So it would be 119.50 a month, I guess, with the 115 platform fee. Yeah, I was trying to answer his question earlier because he had asked me about it, because I had told them that I made the wire to CMEG today, and I plan on switching over at the first of the month, which I don't know if you knew this, but CMEG apparently anything after the 25th, anything after the 25th of the month, the date, they don't charge you if you start your account after the 25th, but before the 1st. So that way you're not getting charged, for a full month for only a couple days. So I thought that was pretty cool. So you don't have to worry about waiting until the 1st. Excuse me. But yeah, it confused me. I mean, all the other stuff just seems like it's extra stuff. Yeah, I guess if you're using DOS, there would be. I see what you're saying. It's 20 for NASDAQ. Where's NYSE at? And here it is. Oh no, that's the open book. I see NASDAQ, the total view is 20. I guess that can't be right. Right, yeah. You definitely want the total view. I'm wondering why this is reading different than the one at Sterling. Well, you don't need level 2 to place orders. And I'm pretty sure, Sublime, that the prices have been the same, because I remember looking at CMEG before they had Sterling, and I remember it being about the same. But I knew my commissions wouldn't be $3. I would have assumed they would be the $4, so it wouldn't have made sense for me to switch from SureTrader at that time. But for $2 every ticket, it makes sense, because I can make that up much quicker, that $75 difference in the platform fee, or platform end market. It's just minus $16, because it's $99 a month instead of the $115. So, and then that's what we were going over earlier. So if you just change or use the same market data, but that's what I'm saying. The data fees are different for Sterling versus DAS. Because here the open book for NYSE is 17, and then for NASDAQ it's 17, so it's 34. Where I don't even see the open book offered by DAS for NASDAQ. That's why I'm confused. Or NYSE. I see NASDAQ here at 20, but then NYSE, the open book, says it's 65, which that's ridiculous. And I guess a question for you, Kevin, would be, is this something that you can go in and change on your own, or is this something that you have to contact CMEG for to change? Because before I start trading, I would want them to know that I don't want level 2, because I don't want to pay for level 2. I don't use it. Because SureTrader, I can show you. Oops, I don't know why I just clicked Reddit. If you go to platform upgrades and downgrades, you can actually change all this yourself. So like level 1 is actually free, so you don't have to worry about that. The fee itself for the platform is the $49, like I had mentioned. If you want extra for like pink sheets, stuff like that. And then here's the level 2. So you can get the basic level 2 for 15. If you want the NASDAQ, it's 20. The NYSE is 15. And then you can get pink sheets and stuff as well if you want, but that's obviously a little bit more. Yeah, apparently this is actually now included if you're on the Pro version, which I am, but I couldn't even find their app, but I don't know, who knows where that's at. You shouldn't need level 2 to place your orders. Right now, I still have it up. Let me see. Like, I don't have level 2. All I have right here is this level 1. And that's how I can, if I pull up a stock, that's how I can tell if it has a spread or not. You can actually tell watching time and sales for the most part as well, because you can see what price it is. When it's printing this red, that's the bid, and when it's printing this green, that's the ask. And if it's bright red or bright green, that's either below the bid or above the ask. So you can actually read it on time and sales, like what the spread is. But right here, this is what I'm watching usually when I say I'm waiting for the bid to come up. Like if something's coming up high like this was, sometimes the bid won't come with it. So it'll say like 540, but it'll still say like 520 on the bid. And I've been trading like this for a long time now. So I know you don't need level 2 to actually place an order. That wouldn't really make much sense. I mean, level 2 is just an add-on that some people like to use. But I always found it intriguing that time and sales is actually free, but level 2 is costs money, which is funny because people pay for level 2 just to see something that is highly manipulated, where time and sales literally can't be manipulated. But maybe that's why it's free, because it's literally just showing you the order flow. 1 o'clock. It must be nice. It's only, what, 10 o'clock over there in sunny California. I think I'm about to call it quits. Unless anyone has a question. Come 3 oh my Jesus. My wife was like, just see if you can do an hour tonight. And I was like, yeah, it probably won't be a problem. But man, once you actually start getting into it and, interacting with everybody, it just flies by. Just catching second wind. Me, pick me. Mice. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something I should have asked them beforehand, but I guess assumed that since that's how I'm doing it with SureTrader, I can't assume they would have the prices for all the different market data options and not allow you to choose what you want and don't want. I can't fathom if they were to tell me that I have to pay for level 2. That wouldn't really make sense. I guess at that point it would probably cause me to have to sadly not do business with them, because that would obviously not make sense financially in the long run to have to pay for something I'm not using, especially a decent amount per month. I mean, I hope in the grand scheme of things that amount wouldn't necessarily, matter, but for now it does. That's a payment on something. I think it's actually my cell phone payment. But all right, well, if you guys are done talking to me, I guess I'll be done talking to you. I'm not going to sit here and try to make stuff up. If you guys had some questions, I guess you would have asked. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Brian, thanks for showing up. Kevin, thanks for showing up. Was not expecting you guys. Usually Kevin shows up early and then pieces out. Actually got some other unexpected visitors today as well. GDT, I'm surprised he didn't stop by. Usually he'll stop by for, his required 10 to 15 minutes that I'm sure he feels is necessary. Especially after giving me the shout out and everything. Yeah, I'm sure it probably does come default, so I'll probably tell them that right when the money gets there, because I definitely don't want them to be messing with all that. Well, obviously I'm going to need them to mess with it. Yes, real quick, Sublime, great point. And that's one of the main reasons I am very much looking forward to the Switch, because apparently it's just a drop-down menu. Like, you can literally just hit a drop-down menu and switch to the demo account. And I can't tell you how many times throughout the day where, like, I like to trade early, 10:30, I'm usually done. But throughout the day, if my kids are being good or like eating lunch or something like that, or I'm just I put them down for their naps, so a move like this might happen. And it's not something I would typically play, whether it's for the volume or just for whatever. But I've always wanted a way to practice in real time, like to get the experience on these types of trade. And you can ask Brian, you can ask Kevin, you can ask Vic from the room if he's ever in here, which he never will be. But I'm always like hypo trading, and it's hard sometimes because everyone, Vic especially, he'll say, well, can you put it on a chart? Because that's how you really learn. You can like see your trades on the chart. And I was doing that for a while. Like, I would, type out my hypo trades and I would put them on a chart myself manually so that I could, go over and review them. And, I do my best when I hypo trade to make it as real as possible. So the fact that I will now be able to hypo trade for real on the demo account, when I don't want to necessarily trade it for real, or if it's, trying to expand something out of my comfort zone, like maybe trading the higher price stocks, and stuff like that, I'll now have that option to, do that. So I'm actually really stoked about that. So that's a very good point. But with that, I am gonna get out of here. I'm starting to feel my eyes getting heavy, and I appreciate everyone for showing up. It was a fun time, obviously. I mean, I don't think you sit around for 3 hours and 40 minutes if you're not having somewhat of a good time. So hopefully I answered everybody's questions. Hopefully you guys had a good time as well, even though obviously the people here probably weren't the ones here at the beginning. And if you were, maybe Sublime, I don't know how long you were here because you didn't chime in until a little bit later. But appreciate the support. Don't forget to like. Did you guys like this thing? Like it. I don't know if it matters. Does it matter, Kevin? I don't even really know how YouTube works with all that stuff. So maybe when we get closer to 1K, we'll look into it. But I'm going to just get out of here with that note. If you have any questions, follow-up questions, hit me up. I'll leave my email down here again. Let's make sure I spell it right. Yep. If you have any questions, just hit me up here. Leave them down in the comments. I always respond to everything. I'm not like Kevin, I just ignore everybody. But no, Brian, don't worry about it. I appreciate you stopping by at all. Make it a normal thing on Friday nights, yeah? But maybe if I do have time tomorrow, maybe I'll shoot you a message. Maybe we can get chatting a little bit. I do have a couple questions for you, trading related. But all right, I'm going to get out of here. I will talk to you guys later. Hold on, let me get this ready because I always mess this up. Peace!